find yourself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So you're off in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And it definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pike going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's allowed to have fun. Yeah, it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. The Burger King machine's off into the grass a little bit there. Is that really bunching up now?
Standing out from the crowd is a challenge. You have the passion, courage, and ambition to do something extraordinary. You have an awesome story to tell and a wonderful vision to share with the world. At Eddie Videos, we take that vision and turn it into reality so you can be heard above the rest. You need something different, and we give you the ultimate advantage. We can help you transform your ideas, images, and clips into a professional video that brings your message to life and sets a new bar for excellence. Visuals, voiceovers, editing, animations, whatever you need, we've got it all. If you're a new business looking to make your mark or an experienced company searching for something new and amazing, we're here to help. Trust us to take your video to amazing levels of awesomeness.
Does he have it? Medeiros is going to get it. Medeiros is going to toss it. They haven't got it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly, Miller's still such up. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Radical Sim Racing World Finals. I am James Parfitt. I'm going to be joined in the booth by Mr. Kelsey Gill here this evening. The format will be the AMs will be out on track at Road America first. We will then change session to the pros, who will then go on to the Road America circuit. After that, we will change sessions again to the back to the at Spa, and then we will have one more session change for the pros. The way that's going to work will be 10 minutes qualifying, a 30-minute race for each race. So 2 for Road America, 2 for Spa, 1 fast repair as well. They will score points. Now, I will get the points updated as we go along. It will be 20 points for the winner, then 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, all the way down to the last place man here this evening. That's how it's going to work. These are the top AMs from the European Championship and the Americas Championship going head to head here. The winner of this will be crowned the overall World Final Champion for the Radical Sim Racing SR10. We know there's not been a season this year, but they decided to run the World Finals anyway and get them up and running. So that's going to be the situation, guys. That's going to be what's going to be happening here as well. And Road America is a very tricky circuit in these SR10s in general. We have just entered into qualifying, and let's bring Kelsey Gill in for a quick chat. Kelsey, good evening to you, sir. How are you?
Good evening, James, and good evening to everybody watching along so far. 8 people in the live chat. Do feel free to drop us a message. It's going to be a great evening of racing. We've got 4 races for you, lots and lots of action to digest. We're just getting out onto the circuit now for qualifying. Road America, then, it's a very technical circuit. There's a lot of elements there that I think these cars are going to be able to navigate quite effectively. There's a lovely balance of speed and acrobatics in these cars, I suppose. They're very light, they're very nimble. Their drivers are just going to have to be careful of cold tyres out there on the circuit, as that can really affect your exiting and your entering through corners, I suppose, as you're travelling around this circuit, which is one of the American circuits is quite well loved from what I hear.
Yeah, it's definitely a loved circuit, to be fair. This one and Road Atlanta. Now, obviously, Road Atlanta is a bit of a short circuit, bit of a shorter time, so these guys will... we're not at Road Atlanta, which is a shame. I would love to see Road Atlanta here in the finals, but we are at Road America. It is tough, you know, there's certain corners down here that can cause you a great deal of issues, and I think that's one of the things we're going to be keeping an eye out for as well. We're on the on board with Gordon Haig at the moment, as we're just going round the top part of the carousel before we come round onto that straightaway before we get to the kink. Now, this is one of the corners that we were talking about here as well. The kink is basically a fast right-hander just gone through there, and now we're on the run down into Canada Corner, and I think this is where there's going to be either two things are going to happen. There's going to be a lot of action overtakes, or there's going to be a lot of action moments. Now, I have seen here in a different series coming down Road America where they did end up crashing down that straight, and it did cause a big old drama. It was like a few cars all into each other, and it did cause a problem, Kelsey. They've got this long straightaway into turn one. You know, this straightaway is longer than my high street, let's put it that way, and they've got an opportunity to make that move into turn one as well. So there are more opportunities than down the Marine sweep into turn 5. There's also that opportunity that they've got to have a go as well. I think, to be fair with these guys, Kelsey, the fact that they get points and the fact that it goes all the way down, just finishing the race has got to be the most important thing. I think just being able to get points on the board in the first race, get that little bit of a cushion, and then get time, then get more on the board as hopefully we go into Spa and these guys can fight it out.
Yeah, I mean, I think with this track, you know, you've got 4 straight sections more or less, and you've got opportunities to go for moves. Somebody gets you into turn 1, you've perhaps got a chance to, or into turn 1 or 2, you've got a chance to get them back into 5, and then there's also a bit of a chance to get them perhaps down into turn 8 and then into turn 12 as well. And you were saying about the Canada Corner, for example, it's one of probably 2 bottleneck sort of corner exits that you have, because you come out of the Canada Corner, then you're kind of all bottlenecked into sort of Thunder Valley and up towards turn 13 there, and then you've got the same thing with turns 1 and 2, which shouldn't really be a corner really, it's just a little wiggly bit on the straight, but you've got the same sort of bottleneck, so there might even be incidents going into there as well. And there's a lot of undulation around this track as well. I mean, you're completely blind going up the hill toward the start finish line as well, so there's a lot, and I think slipstream is going to be very, very important for the drivers in these cars to get right, especially on these qualifying laps, perhaps, because it could, you know, it adds a few extra tenths of a second to your lap time. Yeah,
it definitely does there as well. Sven Young Matheson, welcome in there as well. Road America and Interlagos? No, Road America and Spa. We are going to go to Spa. We're going to see the first times on the board. You can see it's taken nearly 5 minutes for these guys to get round to register a time, and it's John Benoit currently from Lima Racing out in front on the 2:01.02. Samuel Cudera here as well, also was on a fast lap but has not got a time on the board. Andros Inop has just gone in front from that Virtual Racing Peru team, so he's going to be able to sit on pole position at the moment. David Waters from the Tiger Racing has just jumped him as well. Mateus Moraes behind that in 5th, with Joe Jacklin bent under down in 6th, Cedric O'Hone in 8th, Guy Robertson 9th, and Max Siegel is down in 10th. You can see only times on the board for the top 9. Everybody underneath that, Siegel, Krasick, Barry, Max Davis, they've all had off tracks. Barry's just managed to complete one at the moment, and James Barry has put himself into 3rd place. Kim Andre Bjorklund, Gordon Haig, Mike Clausen, Sammy Kudrera, all have not got times on the board here, Kelsey, and it's going to be important for their beginning championship hopes almost to take the overall, to get times on the board. The likes of Gordon Haig, who I know is naturally quick, the man from Norway, raced against Gordon myself as well, and he is quick, but you've got to be careful of these off tracks, and you've got to be getting these times on the board, because if you don't, you're going to struggle.
Yeah, I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to maximise their speeds for these corners as best as they can, and there's a lot of corners that can catch you out, really. You can take a lot of curb into some of them, but too much, and you're invalidating your time, you're ruining your chances of getting yourself a banker lap down at the very least. In the qualifying session, I think the Canada Corner is going to be one place where we see a lot of off tracks actually, as it's very easy to run just a little bit too wide there, because the corner itself invites you to run out wide in the way that you have to take it in these cars. So they're going to have to be careful there. There's a few other corners that they'll have to be careful. Running wide there might get themselves an off track if they venture too far through that final corner. But yeah, it's going to be incredibly important I think there's definitely going to be a lot of overtaking chances around this Road America circuit. So there's definitely the chance to make up those places in a back qualifying session, but nobody wants to start last on the grid, let's be honest.
No, they definitely don't. You definitely do not. I think that's one of the things you do not want to do. You don't want to be starting at the back, especially not in a two-lapped race. A two-race... How am I going to put that? A two-raced format, I suppose. You don't want to be not where you should be, because at the end of the day, you're going to cause yourself a problem. And I think that's one of the things that they're going to have to be really careful of, is just making sure that they can get out and get themselves a decent position, because you've got to score points. And I know it might seem like we're harping on about it, but they have seriously here, Kelsey, got to score points, because otherwise it's going to be over before they've even gotten into the second one. Don't get me wrong, there's always that opportunity here, and they can always make it up and hope and pray, I suppose, would be the easiest way, but that's not going to be the way that they want to be dealing with it. Kim Andre Bjorklund has just gone on to pole position. You can see the amount of drivers at the bottom setting greens under the belt at the moment. Sami Khedira did manage to get a time on the board last time out of 2:01.058, but they haven't got long, and he's not going to get another one to go again. It will be Kim Andre Bjorklund will be the last man over the line who will be able to set a time. I don't even think Richard Hearn or Sami Khedira is going to get a time on the board here either for the next one, because it is such a long lap, and it has taken so long to get these tyres going, and it's normally within 3 laps with these cars. That's how long it generally takes to get the tyres warmed up. So there's no saying that Khedira, who's gone into third, his next lap there, Kelsey, would have been even quicker, but he's just not going to get it on the board.
Yeah, I mean, they've had to be careful in these couple first laps, haven't they? Because of that tyre warm-up period. But, and this is very important now to get them in. So you've got to get those lap times in, got to try and get themselves at the board. And as the old adage goes, James, points mean prizes. I'm not sure if there's genuine prizes for this, but, the saying is all the same. If you're not scoring those points, you're not getting yourself up there. And it's one thing to be quick. It's another thing to sort of be quick and have to overtake cars, because that's the element that you can't control, is what the other cars are going to do around you. You can drive to the best of your ability, but if the other guy is putting on the best defense, making his car as wide as humanly possible, then there's nothing you can do about it really, unless you can try and find a way through.
Exactly, and that sun coming out of 13A there is going to be blinding as we go round turn 14 onto that straight. As we say, Kim Andre Bjorklund is going to be the last man to be able to set a time. Is he going to knock James Barry off that pole position? He's coming over the line. He's got 1 purple, 1 green. What has Bjorklund done? 2 minutes, 0.4. He's not able to get James Barry off that position on the grid. So it is going to be James Barry will be your pole man here. You cannot now, as soon as that timer hits 0, you cannot finish your lap. You are going to be done and dusted, and within about 2 seconds it should all blank out, and then everybody should be done, I believe, unless, of course, it's now brought up the fact that they have, if they cross the line before that 2 minutes, they might be able to finish the lap here as well. So let's see what happens with Jacqueline, whether or not his time gets registered on the board. 2:02 in checkered flag is out. You can see it there as well. So it is going to be Ben Underdown, the final man on the circuit, to be able to set a fastest lap. Andreas Inop, he goes in 2 minutes 0.61, puts himself into third. Walters puts himself into fifth, and then Moraes there as well. So let's see the grid when it comes up very, very shortly, and we'll be able to get this race won for these AMs up and running here at Road America. It's going to be some epic racing. So let's see what we can do and get this grid up for you when it is available to bring up there as well. Welcome in everybody. Diego Zuccarelli, thank you so much for joining us as well. If you are on the JBB YouTube channel or the Radical Simracing YouTube channel, say hi, let us know how you all are, and if you're enjoying your fine Sunday afternoon. I've done a little bit of shopping this morning already. I went off and did some pumpkin picking for Halloween. So I've got me pumpkins all ready to go, and I've just got to carve them out now, Kelsey. I've got a green one, a white one, a yellow one. So, yeah, it's going to be adventurous at my house over the next week or so. Carving pumpkins. What about you, sir? Do you do carving pumpkin?
I've given it a go for a couple of times, actually. I think when I was at first year at university, we carved some pumpkins, and then I think one of my housemates threw it out the window. Not
an ideal scenario.
Why. I think we had it out for a good couple of days, though, so it wasn't like I carved it and then he sort of threw it out the window immediately. I think it might have been more of a, they were going, rot, let's do something funny. Or I mean, it wasn't that funny in all fairness. I mean, whoever had to clean that up, I think we did clean it up, actually. I don't remember. I just vaguely remember carving this really cool pumpkin that looked like the boogeyman from A Nightmare Before Christmas, and then it got destroyed at some point or another. But I don't really do much for Halloween, to be honest. I feel like we're one of them families who switch off the lights and make sure nobody knocks on the door.
Yeah, I know. We normally have my dad over while we take the kids out trick-or-treating, and he does the same thing. He turns off all the lights. And then we end up having to put the sweeties out in the bowl. So the kids actually get something, because my old man won't answer the door. He's just like, grubby. So yeah, we've got the same kind of issue, unfortunately, here as well. Right, the grid is going to be available, and this is what it will be for the first race of the evening. James Barry is on pole with Kim-Andre Bjorklund in second, Andros in up third, Sammy Goudra in fourth, David Waters in fifth, Mateus Moraes in sixth, Ben Underdown seventh, John Benawalid 8th, Gordon Haig 9th, Richard Hearn 10th, Charles Kozik 11th, and Joel Jacklin down in 12th place. Then we have got Mike Clausen, Guy Robertson, Cedric O'Hearn, Max Siegel, Stefan Mellis, and Chris Max Davis, ignoring Caden Halliburton. He joined the session there. So he is not in this one. Okay, so he is not in this race, Kane Halliburton. So he will be in the next one for the pros. So let's get this up and running. We're just waiting for James Barry to get onto the grid, and then we are going to be green for the first race of the evening. Road America and Spa. Yes, says Radical Sim Racing. Right, lights are coming up now. 1, 2, jump start. Sammy Goudra, jump start off the back. That's going to be a stop and go penalty, as he did move, but it is Kim-Andre Bjorklund who's going to get that jump right at the beginning over James Barry, with David Waters and Andros up in that fourth place here as well. Sammy Goudra, you're going to have a stop go penalty there, dear sir. Unfortunately, you did jump the start, and I don't feel iRacing is going to be very nice to you in the process. It could be a 40-second stop and go there, so let's see what happens with Goudra. Moraes just going up the inside as they go from turn 3 on that run now for the first time down into that marine sweep at the moment here, and at the moment you can see there as well, everybody looks like they've got through quite cleanly there, apart from Goudra and his full start.
Yeah, barring that full start. Whoa, sending it from a different postcode. That's definitely not going to work. He's taken out, 2 cars in the process as well? What was that move? He's definitely missed his braking zone there. He'll be hanging his head in shame for sure. But, wow. I was not expecting that as I opened up my first statements of this session.
Yeah, Mateus Moraes there just absolutely nailed Andros Inop. Mateus Moraes absolutely nailed Andros Inop. We can try and have a quick look back at what he got onto here as well. It looks like this is just going to be a breaking point for Moraes as well, as he's coming down now into turn 5. You can see it. He's on the brakes. He's not even braking. He's too late. Boom! Into Inop he goes on that one at turn 5, and that unfortunately is going to put them two down the order. It's going to be tough. Inop, and there's also somebody else without a front wing there, a nose cone there as well, and that's is that Charles Krasik has managed to get damage at the same time. Charles has literally got no front end on that car whatsoever there, Kelsey, and is driving still, should we say, in the right way.
Some very poorly looking SR10s out there on this grid, but what a chaotic start after those first initial corners, and there's a lot of battling going on here as well, and I'm sure some drivers may be feeling the effects of the damage as one peels into the pits on these early laps as well. Let's go back to the start a little bit though. Bjorklund got an incredible start, didn't he? He just launched off the line as we see two cars going side by side down the main straight. This is a nice little gaggle of cars all jostling for position. 2 by 2 they go into the first couple of corners, and through goes, I can't
Cedric
quite see this
O'Hearn.
one. Swing is blurry. There we go, he's gone through, and they're now 1 by 1 heading their way through the next couple of corners.
Yeah, they definitely are at the moment here as well. They're trying to race away with each other. Cedric O'Hearn has got Joel Jacklin, Stefan Mellis and Richard Hearn right behind him. Sami Kudera and also Kim. Andre Bjorklund, there's contact! Oh, the top 2 are out! Oh, Kudura there as well, making contact with Bjorklund right at the moment we got there, and unfortunately for Andre Bjorklund, he is now down in 5th place here, and that is a shame. Sami Kudura out there, unfortunately, going straight into the side of Kim Andre Bjorklund. You can see it here, how it happens. I'm not entirely sure. He tries to go around the outside, turns it too early over Kim Andre Bjorklund, and unfortunately Bjorklund had nowhere to go. Kudrao's got to, he must have, after that jump start there, Kelsey, he must have a stop go. He must have, surely he's got to have a stop and go for that jump start.
He's got to. I mean, it's a standard practice, isn't it? Drive through for a jump start, or stop go for a jump start perhaps, but I don't know, perhaps the game's just telling him you've got a certain amount of laps to fulfill it, and then it's going to give him a penalty afterwards, or maybe it'd be something he serves after the race. But I'm surprised he's not come in yet, especially after all this carnage as well.
Yeah, well, normally it's at that moment. It's normally you've got 3 laps to serve this penalty, and I suppose technically he's got to go in at the end of this lap, surely, because he was in motion at the start. I am sure that the game has got to be telling him that he's going to be on his last legs here. He's now got Ben Underdown chucking down behind him. Jace Barry's out in front by about 2.5 seconds. Guy Robinson has got Max Siegel and Kim Andre Bjorklund battling it out side by side as these guys go on the run down into turn 5. Bjorklund has got past Siegel here. The guy from Simracing Norway is now going to take a dive up Guy Robinson. Robinson had to check up. That's allowed Siegel to check up as well. What about Stefan Mellis and Richard Hearn? Mellis on the right hand side. Richard Hearn with that nice decent livery there as well. Loving that one as Stefan Mellis gets it all wrong, and so does Cedric O'Hearn as they go off the side of the circuit. Are we looking at a little bit of nerves kicking in here? Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of mistakes here, and we've still got 24 minutes to go.
Yeah, I think there's a few drivers out there with perhaps not the coolest heads possible. I mean, you saw the incident between, was it Sigal and Bjorklund?
Yeah.
Was it? And earlier on, you're just turning in that little bit too.
He's done it
too
again!
soon. And there's another one.
What is... I'm not being rude here, but what is Sami Kudra doing? I don't get this. Like, I don't understand what's going on with Kudra at the moment. That's like the third driver that's ended up into... Well, he spun it up on his own there, right? So that's his first mistake. Now comes Guy Robinson there. So Guy Robinson is behind him. But I don't get what the situation is with Kudra at the moment. Like, you know, that's 3 drivers that have fallen victim to this man, and that's another one. I'm not sure. Do you know, the thing is though, and I don't mean this in a detrimental way, right, in any shape or form, but you know what they say about people in officials with Red Bull liveries? stay away from them. And Kujara at the moment is kind of giving that stereotypical name that's happening. You can't go through people. You've got to be... I don't know. You've got to go round them, right? Chat, I think if anybody disagrees with me, let me know. But you can't be going through people here.
Going round them, slipping underneath them, but you certainly can't go through them like that. I mean, they're not just... The car's just not going to disappear because you decide to dive up the inside, I suppose. But that's incredibly clumsy racing there.
Yeah.
Kujura in the 33 car, and lost for words, really.
Yeah, I don't really get what the situation is. Like, I get, it seems to be, I'm still surprised he has not had to take a penalty, guys. I am in physical shock that this man did not, if he hasn't taken a penalty for going through people, right? I'm not gonna, a penalty for jumping the start and a penalty for going through people. I've got to be honest, I am completely in shock that he has not had that. And if he hasn't had it, well, we need to go back and look at it, and I'm sure there might be some people saying, please can you look at this at the same time, because he's gone through Bjorkland, he's gone through Robinson at the same time, and he's put it off the side of the circuit. Yeah, not an ideal scenario, I'm not going to lie, as Kudra and Siegel are now going at it here as well. Well, if nothing else, we can say it's been adventurous, Kelsey, haven't we already?
Yeah, it certainly has, and there's a few little battles that are starting to brew up here as well. You've got O'Hayan and Hearn over for P8, and we're just keeping an eye on Segal and Kadura, who will be hoping that Kadura keeps himself to himself. Here we go. I think Segal's got the move done and has moved up into 4th place for the time being.
Kadura's gone.
Kadura's gone. Oh dear.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a disconnect or what the situation is with Sami Kudra there, but he's just gone. He has disappeared, unless I'm keeping an eye on any form of information. If anybody can give me that information, that would be great. If there's something of a penalty's been handed out or what the situation is, but at the moment, Sami Kudra is no longer. He is dropping down the order. So we've got Ben Underdown, who's got Kim Andre Bjorkland right up behind him. We've got Richard Hearn, who is battling away here as well. And Moraes is also battling. So, yeah, we'll keep an eye on that one and see what happens here as well. But it looks like from Kudra's point of view, well, he's either disconnect or something a little bit more serious is happening. I think, yeah, I'm also wondering as well, actually, Kelsey, I'm wondering whether or not he's been DQ'd for not taking that penalty.
Yeah, that's the only other thing I can think of. I'm not too well versed with exactly how penalties are dished out on iRacing, but...
Well, it's basically a stop and go.
Yeah.
It's a stop and go after 3 laps. You have to go in after a stop and go on the jump start. Drive through is if you get to the incident limit, but it should be a stop and go if you jump the start, which he clearly did do.
Yeah, so if it's like most racing sims, then he may have even racked up so many penalties that we've not been able to see, and all of the information we have provided, and he might have been DSQ'd. I don't know.
Yeah.
That or he's lagged out. I mean, in any case, there shouldn't be any more incidents involving the 33 drivers, so we'll leave it at that. It looks like Underdown, though, is fighting away with Bjorkland, who's trying to get himself back toward the front of the grid. He's got 6.4 seconds to close down Barry, who is, after his poor start, has managed to find himself back in the lead after all of the carnage that has happened in this race.
Yeah, well, I'm looking into... basically, I've been given information by Sandro, who has said, at the moment, it's expected he got DQ'd automatically for not taking his penalty. Bruno Abrentus, Moraes is fighting. He's on your screen, battling away with Chris Max Davis. Moraes in that I'm going to say yellow and white car. We've got Max Davis in the white behind him. Chris Max Davis doing a stellar job there. Guy Robinson's also battling it out with John Benawalid. Moraes does go through there as well. It's a great move from him. Guy Robinson and John Benawalid. I'm upset with John right about now because all of last season, Kelsey, he ran the Lightning McQueen number 95, or I think it was, livery, and I'm upset he hasn't done that at the moment, and he's in this green livery. So John, sort it out for the next one, as Guy Robertson is just about to try. He needed to be a little bit more aggressive there, did Guy Robinson, I think, to get that position away from John.
Yeah, he did. I think he needed to get maybe even just perhaps not put his nose where it shouldn't be, or at least just make him think that he was going to go for that move down there, just to maybe try and scare Benelad off the road, perhaps, or just into making a little error into the corner. But he could definitely do with being more aggressive going into these corners if he's going to try and make the path.
I definitely agree there as well. John Benawale didn't really have much to battle on here either. He's now pulled out nearly a second at the moment. So there we go. We can give you a quick rundown as we go into near enough breaking into the last 15 minutes. James Barry out in front, got the job done after the incident. Got a very sloppy start there, unfortunately, for James Barry, and hopefully he'll be looking at improving that for the next one, but he will take the win if he carries on here. Kim Andre Bjorklund in second place with Ben Underdown in third. Of course, Bjorklund got involved in an incident with Kudra, and unfortunately Kudra did make contact, and then it's all done and dusted. Ben Underdown sitting in third. Max Siegel trying to close in fourth. He is up 12 places. It just goes to show patience can be achieved here, Kelsey, in a 30-minute race.
Yeah, it certainly can. Also helps when there's major incidents going into those opening laps of the race, where it's almost like the Red Sea has parted when you come through sort of cars like that, and the bunch of them end up in the gravel traps or just off the track and such, and you're lucky enough to not get caught up in those incidents as well. It can be scary, but it's luck of the draw, I suppose. When you manage to get yourself through and not caught up in any of those. I think myself in my own racing career, I ended up being a bit of an incident magnet, or perhaps somebody decided to put brake on the back of my rear wing, because I tended to end up being drawn into incidents rather than causing them. But it was if you're lucky enough, you can end up many places up, 12 places, like Segal is now in P number 4.
Was that somewhat of a... Do you think that was a you issue, or do you think it was other people? Because normally when I get caught up in a lot of incidents, it's normally me being a little bit more over-aggressive than I really needed to. But at the end of the day, I do blame others. We wouldn't be sim racers if we didn't do that, right? That's the thing. We never are really 100% blamed for anything, Kelsey, are we? We generally make it out like we were sweet and innocent, and it was always the other guy's fault.
I mean, especially in the heat of the moment, it's that guy's fault. He turned it on me when perhaps, you had a bit of a moment on the track, or and you don't want to really admit your own fault at that point. But I don't know. I've been in a lot of races, been in a lot of incidents in that time as well. But I, as a racing steward as well as a racer, I can sort of admit fault when it is wrong. I think my biggest battle recently has been speeding in the pit lane. I've always been, I didn't go over the speed limit on that instance when I was actually probably, 2 miles per hour too quick going over the line.
Yeah, I agree there as well. That's the thing. Bruno! Listen, Bruno, I do get the opinions, all right? I do understand the opinions, and I do understand that you're here just as a fan of Mateus Moraes, and I do understand that, but Moraes did dive bomb somebody down in turn 5, missed his braking point completely, and ended up taking out Andrew Sinop in front. So we need to look at the situation first. We don't know what's happening with Kudra. We don't know. We think he got DQ'd due to the fact he didn't take his penalty. But let's keep the comments nice, Bruno, please, if we don't really mind. I'm sure Everybody's entitled to their opinions, but we like to keep it a little bit positive and a little bit nice, all right? I do understand your frustration, and I get that. It's probably even harder for you because you're not in the race either, so you've only got the angles we're giving you, but let's keep it a little bit nice, shall we, Bruno, please? If that's okay. We, try and do that here on the JBB YouTube channel, and if you are watching it on there, don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on the bells, or on the Radical Sim Racing channel, you can like, subscribe as well. Seagull is just about, he's having to go bed under down here, Kelsey, and he's doing a good job in the process.
Yeah, he is. He's putting the pressure on. I think he's making Ben Under down just run that little bit too wide, and you've seen on a couple of occasions now that the door's sort of been open there. A couple corners ago, Seagull just had a little bit of a look down the inside, didn't he? He just looks all that much quicker through these corners as Underdown just dips a wheel into the dirt there, and now they're coming through the carousel. It's a very, very long right-hander. You've got to be patient, take your late apex, stay in the middle of the road, and then run out onto full power when you come down to this bit, then through the kink. Now this is going to be a nice little charge through here. We'll see the effect of the slipstream. Here he goes, side by side. I think this is going to be a done and dusted move. I don't think there'll be much fight back from Underdown as they go through. Let's see, does he pull back onto the racing line? He does, and Underdown's going to have to sit on him behind, but he's going to see if he can switch back underneath as they come through the next complex of this racing circuit, but it's no use doing.
Yeah, he's got to stay within about that 7/10 mark at the moment as Underdown, as Barry breaks into the 59s. The first man to do so here as well. Ben Underdown in 4th place. He's got to try and close the gap up. He had an opportunity coming out of 14. He didn't just stay close enough. You can see it's dropping now under that half-second mark. It's coming down, and for Underdown, he needs to stay within that half-second mark to basically try and get him on that run down into Moraine as well, down into turn 5, because if he doesn't do that, he's going to be, unfortunately, could be left behind here as Seagull goes up 13 places in half an hour. Well, 20 minutes here, Kelsey. That's a stellar job he's doing at the moment.
Yeah, it has been a fantastic little job there from him, hasn't it? He's done well. I mean, not only has he benefited from incidents, but he's been able to show that he can get past cars. I mean, he made a great little move on Underdown there. He was patient, he was quick. He wasn't dropping speed because he was behind another car. He was able to sit there and wait for his opportunity, get him under the slipstream, and get the job done quite quickly. He's got to now, though, drop Underdown and try and start making his way forward towards Bjorkland. He's got about 10.5 minutes to do so. So whether he can do it or not, we will yet to see. He's got a gap of 4.9 seconds though, and well, can he do that in 10 minutes? Perhaps we'll keep an eye on the timing tower.
Yeah, the problem is his last time out was a 2:07.1. Seagull on a 2 minutes there as well. So unfortunately, I don't know if he's actually going to be able to get there, to be honest with you, because I don't think he's going to have enough time to drop back and do that. And that's going to be the thing for him, isn't it? It's going to be the rush of trying to get below them places and trying to get the time down. I'm just wondering if he's going to have enough time here, though, Kelsey, to be able to do that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough here. I think he might need some errors from Bjorkland, or he needs to pull out some pace from somewhere. But I think at this point, it might be worth just staying consistent, staying as clean as possible, not to make any mistakes himself, because Underdown's still there. He's sat within that second mark or so now. The gap's opened that little bit, but I think if Seagull pushes too much, makes any major errors during this next few laps, then Underdown's going to have a little opportunity and maybe go for the pass. I mean, it's that last place on the podium.
Yeah, definitely is here as well. Chris Max Davis has had a little bit of a moment going down into turn 5. It looks like he might have missed his braking point, and he has, by the looks of it, gone well wide, gone out over the curb, and unfortunately for Chris Max Davis, he got it all wrong down into turn 5, so he's off the side of the circuit. We're going into the last 8.5 minutes of racing. Don't forget, we have got to change sessions after this one to be back there as well for the pros. The pros will be at Road America America, and that alone is going to be an interesting one here once more, because there are some very quick drivers in that pro class. So let's see what happens here as well, as we're coming into the last 8 minutes of this race. And, well, it's definitely going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, it certainly is. There's not too much action going on out there. I think that what we are keeping our eye on is this fight between Segal and Underdown for that final spot on the podium. We're just keeping our eyes out as well on a few other drivers. Perhaps Inop can catch up to Krasik for P11 there, or there might even be some. I think that's the closest gap, in all honesty. They're quite spread out. I think the incidents have meant that a lot of the drivers have had to come into the pits, get some damage repaired, and or however it works out in these SR10 cars, and then come back out onto the track. That was a bit of a moment there for Krasik. The rear almost snapped straight out on him, and now we've got a battle on our hands, James.
Yeah, we definitely have here as well. We've got 7 minutes remaining on lap 12. They're fighting it out in this AM class. Inop is closing down onto the back of Charles Krasik as well, as he's obviously scrapping his way. Krasik there trying to come back at him as well. Looks like he's been in for his fast repair, and it's going to be even more interesting to see there as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what Andrew Sinop and Charles Krasik can do here. So it's going to be tough for these guys once more. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, I think, Kelsey, from all of these. Have we lost Kelsey there? Kelsey, you still there, sir?
I am still here, yes. I don't know what happened there, sorry.
Yeah, cutting out on that one there as well, but Inop closing in on Krasik.
Yes, he is, yeah. That little mistake from Krasik, I think he gave it a little bit too much, went a little bit too wide. The rear then tried to overtake him, but he just managed to keep it. But he's now got Inop, and look at the closing speed on Inop's car. All the way down this straight now. This could be a move in towards turn number 5. Car number 3, is he going to make a look to the inside? No. Defensive goes the orange car, so sweeping around the outside. Able to brake that much later. Gets on the apex as well. That was a great little move. Very, very brave stuff.
Yeah, Inop there trying to get him past Krasik. He's now got to fight his way through here once more. 5 minutes. Can Inop get onto the back of Murray, though? That's going to be the question here, Kelsey, whether or not he's going to be able to do that.
Yes, indeed. It's a big gap, though, James. That's 19 seconds he's got to try and open up there. I mean, Murray would need a huge mistake in order for that one to happen. I'll eat my hat if he gets that, in all honesty.
Yeah, I would be as well, and I think it would be quite a shock if he does get there, to be honest, as well, as he's sitting in 11th. But depends on what Murray does and whether or not he gets it completely wrong here, though. That's going to be the question. But he's not shaking off Charles Krasik at the moment, is he?
No, he's not. Krasik seemed to have the measure on him until that mistake, and this could be a fight that lasts all the way to the checkered flag. Dave Watt was disappointed that we missed him getting taken out on lap 1. There was too much action. Yeah, there certainly was. The first corner was fine, and then everything seemed to start unfolding once we got through turns 2, 3, 4, 5, and it was all downhill from there for some of the drivers. But this is the fight we're keeping our eye on now. Is Krasik going to go for a move down into the first corner, closing, doesn't quite get the opportunity just yet, but he won't be too worried. He'll have another chance down towards number 5.
Yeah, he definitely will here. 4 minutes remaining once more with these drivers, Krasik and Inop. Obviously, Inop was involved with Murray at turn 5 on lap 1. Krasik looked like he had his own little bit of a moment as well, so it's been tough there. So let's see what happens here. We're going into the last 3 minutes and 50 seconds. Krasik goes in wide. Is that going to be his run over, though?
Oh, I don't know. He's going to lose a big chunk of time there. I think he got a little bit too ambitious. I think he was trying to perhaps set up a better exit, try and get Inop as they came out from that corner, but it just didn't work, and he ended up losing more time than he gained and now the gap's around 1.1 seconds. He's lost about 6/10 in attempting that move, and he's not got too much longer to try and get it. I think this is going to be our penultimate lap. I think the leaders have just crossed the line. Their leaders coming through turn 5 now.
Yeah, Barry's down at turn 5 there, so he is going to be... He might get one more, depending on one. I think the next one could be the last lap, though, Kelsey. That's going to be the thing.
Yeah, that's it. So if Krasik's going to have any chance of reclaiming P11, he's got to get his head down, close in, which it looks like he's doing. He's got 8 attempts now to in-op, and he'll have to do it on the last lap.
Yeah, he's going to have to give it a go here. Leader coming up to turn 8 at the moment, that left-hander, before they go off around the carousel of 9. Yes, David Wilters, we did miss it, unfortunately. There was a lot going on. I had to reload the overlay in the process, which unfortunately hasn't allowed me to be able to go back. Now, to the beginning of the race, there was a lot going on, and at 2 minutes 30 on the clock, I think James Barry here is going to take this white flag, and I think he's going to be done and dusted. Me, personally, for James Barry, if there's any doubts of him getting over the line in 20 seconds, I would slow up, Kelsey. I'd make it the last lap of the race, to be honest, because he has got a gap that he can contend with.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? It'll be to his benefit, but he's got a big enough gap that, you know, last lap or penultimate lap, it doesn't really matter too much, unless he somehow decides that he's going to make a mistake or push too much when he doesn't really need to. Just sort of cruise around really on your last lap, and job's a good one.
Yeah, well, he's got 8.7 seconds. I wouldn't worry too much there for him. Murray has got Stefan Mellis in front of him. Ben Awalid is also now going to have a go at Chris Max Davis, who we saw run wide in turn 5 there. Kudra's out, Ming's out, Walters is out as well. Kiki Ming, I think, has also just joined the wrong session, because unfortunately he shouldn't be in this one, young sir. You should be in the next one. But Jem Belawale there is going to go try and get through on Chris Max Davis. Final lap of the race for your leader. James Barry is out in front by 8.9 seconds here. Well, he's done what he had to do there, Kelsey. He had to go out and win. He didn't get off the start as Murray goes. Ooh. Did he gain the position by being off the circuit?
I don't know, it was hard to tell from the angle, wasn't it? But he gave it a good go, did Murray, through the last corner. And we might have to see a replay of that one in the livery of yellow and white. It's quite reminiscent of the Brawn livery from 2009 Formula 1, which is very nice. But let's see. We'll have a look as they come through now. Is he all 4 wheels off the circuit? I don't know. It was tight, wasn't it?
Very, very tight there as well for Murray on that one. All 4 wheels, possibly, nearly, maybe. We're not nearly sure on that, but he definitely had 2 over that line, and he's pulled out 1.0 seconds as James Barry starts his run round Canada Corner for that final time in the first race. He will be the man who's going to score them 20 points. He's going to take it. He's actually going to get 21, if I'm not mistaken, because he got pole position, did James Barry. So Bjorklund will be in second in 19 points, and then you're going to have Max Siegel, who is going to get 18 points. But it is James Barry who's going to take that first place here at Road America in the first race of the evening. So a great run from him. As I say, 21 points for him, 19 for Bjorklund, 18 for Siegel. So Max Siegel is going to get 18 points. Ben Underdown there as well. He is going to get 17. So it's still all to play for, really, between them top 4. Mike Clausen comes over the line after that one. And then we're going to see Joe Jacklin, Cedric O'Hearn, and also Richard Hearn coming over the line here as well. Last in the run will be 15th, and that will be Guy Robinson from Team Dre. It's tough, right? Because there were multiple people who could have taken that win that unfortunately weren't on the race circuit. I think that could have been... I think Inop had a very good chance of taking that.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? I think he had a good chance. He looked good in qualifying, and then he just sort of it just sort of all went wrong during that first few moments of the race into turn 5.
Yeah, Murray definitely may have assisted that one, should we say, there goes John Benawalid, and then we're going to have Chris Max Davis and Guy Robinson. Then we're going to jump onto a BRB screen, guys, as well. We'll bring you up the results. Then we're going to go straight into the pros, okay? So let's bring you up the race results for race 1. It is James Barry out in front, Kim Andre Bjorkland second, Max Siegel third, Ben Underdown is in fourth, Mike Klaus in fifth, Joel Jacklin sixth, Cedric O'Hearn seventh, Cedric O'Hearn in seventh, Richard Hearn in eighth, Matthias Moraes ninth, Stefan Mellis 10th, Andrew Sinop 11th. Then you got Krasic, Benawalid, Max Davis, Robinson, and then you got Kudrar, Haig and Walters, who did not unfortunately finish the race, and both of the bottom drivers are in the wrong session. So guys, we're going to jump on to a quick BRB, and then we'll be right back with the next one, which will be the pros taken to the track. See you shortly. Okay, guys, we are back for the pros. They are out on track at this moment in time. And as you can see, we are in qualifying. We don't have long left to go of quali. And it is currently Kane Halliburton out in front doing a stellar job, setting a time of a 1:59.8 is his best lap time. Kiki Ming is in third. And Jurgen Frank's just gone and taken that pole position away from Kane Halliburton. Luke Maxwell gone and put it in second as well, so great job from Luke Maxwell. Kane Halliburton, Tim Burton, Tim Bertie, John McCutchinson, Alfredo Mello. 3 minutes remaining here in this final. Well, the AMS, well, it was an interesting one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a good qualifying session. The top three are actually covered by 0.04 of a second, with positions 2 and 3 by 1,000th of a second, and then it all sort of kicked off in the race. We had a couple nice clean corners, and then I believe Murray forgot to brake, and that was it. It sort of took out 2-3 cars with him straight into the gravel trap, and that invited a bunch of cars up a load of positions. And then of course we had Cadora being a bit of a menace out on the track as well after jumping the start, and it all sort of spiraled out of control and settled down for the remainder of the race.
Yeah, it definitely did. It seemed to be a little bit of a well, I don't want to say menace, but he got himself into some possible situations that he didn't need to be in, did Kudra, and unfortunately it caused everyone a little bit of a problem. So yeah, not an ideal scenario, but there we go. It is what it is on that one, and it's always going to be that kind of situation, I think, leading off here once more. So yeah, tough one. A very difficult one for everybody to deal with on that one. While we're getting into the last minutes of qualifying, we can bring you up the current AM standings. They have just been sent to me. So currently in the AMs, it is James Barry out in front on 21. That's what I had. Kim Andre Bjorkland 19, Siegel 18, Underdown 17, and then you've got Clousing, Jacqueline Ahern, and Murray with Stefan Mellis in your 10th place. So that is currently the situation in the AMs. So let us know, guys, who you're rooting for in YouTube chat here as well, and we can try and obviously give you drivers a shout out. Franco Sanchez has got some love going on there as well. Here's hoping the pro race is a cleaner lap one than the AMs. It was, yeah, very interesting as well. I'm not gonna lie from you guys, you definitely made it an interesting one, I think, Kelsey, for everybody within the AMs, really.
Yeah, and it meant that, you know, those who might have been a little bit out of position after qualifying could just come up and maybe try and get themselves up. I mean, Segal jumping himself onto the podium, that was a good little run from him. He was up, what, 12, 13 positions after the first couple of the laps. But you know, I mean, sometimes these things happen in motorsports, and they can be avoided if you know, you've got a little bit more awareness about you as a driver. But you know, other times it's, you know, it can go down as hard racing, let's say. You know, when you're going side by side, you might have a little bit of a tiff with the driver that you're battling along with. But yeah, I mean, not to comment on it too much. You know, we'll be hoping that there's a little more awareness out there, I suppose is the word I'm looking for. A little more, all the drivers will be a little more put together, and from these quicker guys, I'm expecting some good stuff, actually.
Yeah, I'm a little bit confused. I'm just reaching out to admin at the moment about why Matthias Murray and Stefan Mellis are in this session. I'm a bit worried why Murray is actually going around the track at the moment, being that he is an AM. So yeah, let's not worry too much about that as we're coming into the end of qualifying. Jurgen Frank chilling out there, going a nice little bit of slowly. Luke Maxwell over the line, 1:59.9. Mallow on a 1:59.4. Then you got Kane Halliburton, who has just gone over the line as well. What about Jurgen Frank? He is towing along his team Simracing mate in Tim Birdie, giving him a little bit of a pull. 1:59.971. Didn't quite work out for them guys. What about Andreas Friedrich? So let's see how he goes along. Friedrich goes into 5th.
Yeah, we're keeping an eye on Halliburton, I think. We said just before we came back on that he's very likely to win this one at the moment. I don't know where he is out on the track. I think he is... Oh, I want to say his session's
4th.
over. It's going to be 4th, yeah.
Halliburton's going to get 4th there as well. There seems to be some confusion about Matthias Murray as well, as we seem to think he is down to be a pro, but not entirely sure why he was on track for the AMS. I'm just trying to find that one out now as we're going into this pro race. I'm just waiting for these guys to give me the grid, and then we will be up and running there as well. Philip White, so sorry not to be racing. Good luck to all. Well, let's hope as well that they have some nice clean action once more, as we've still got a couple of drivers out on track. Tim Bertie and Jürgen Frank are still out on the circuit at the moment, but lap times, to be honest, not much quicker than some of them pros.
Yeah, I mean, the pros didn't... Well, the AMs didn't get themselves into the 59s until later into the race, once they were sort of dialed in, I suppose. So I think they're definitely going to go quicker out there, perhaps, once we're into the latter stages of the race. Because you saw, I think you had the likes of Barry and Bjorklund reaching the 59s, the low 59s during that time. So we may even see some 58s out there, James.
Yeah, Jürgen Frank is on pole with Luke Maxwell in 2nd, Alfredo Melo in 3rd, Kane Halliburton 4th, Andreas Friedrich in 5th, Kettle Larson in 6th, Kiki Ming in 7th, Tim Bertie 8th, Mike Boos on 9th, John McCutcheon 10th, Franco Sanchez in 11th, and then Eric Harmon is down in 12th. And Stephen Blaze, Matthias Moraes, and Christian Vizcarra. I don't think Stefan Mellis is supposed to be there at the moment, so I think there's some confusion between some of the drivers with sessions being set up on where and what and when and where they're supposed to be. So, yeah, unfortunately, from the organisers' point of view, they do only put the sessions up, and then the drivers can join in from there. As I say, for Murray, not entirely sure why he was in the AM race. I'm just trying to have a chat with the organiser, who unfortunately is not entirely sure why he was there either. So, yeah, bit of a kerfuddle, should we say, from Matthias Morea on that one.
Yeah, a bit strange that, just joining in with the AMs, but I mean, if he hadn't have had as much of an impact on the race as he did, then it might have been an issue. But he missed his braking point at turn 5, so it makes his appearance there all that much worse.
It definitely does. It's unfortunately for Andrew Zinov, it's not going to be. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be the most popular individual in the grid, I would have thought. So, yeah, not ideal. But Jürgen Frank is on pole. We are looking to get this up and running very, very shortly with these drivers. The lights are coming on here once more. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. We're going to be off and running for this pro fight, and it doesn't get off the line. Jürgen Frank down 5 places and is still going down the order. Luke Maxwell out in front, being chased by Kane Halliburton here as well. There's a big gaggle of cars. Are they all going to make it through on these pros? 2 wide, 4 deep, 5 deep. Once more, and you can see them all on your screen at the moment, and it's kicking off with Alfredo Melo trying to chase down Kane Halliburton. Then we've got Kettle Larson, Andreas Friedrich. They're running 3 wide further back as well. There's people on the lights already as these guys making contact further back. John McCutcheon in that yellow car alongside Jürgen Frank as he's coming down into turn 5. Kane Halliburton, Bousson gets a slide on. He makes contact. Bousson's going to go off the side of the circuit. Kiki Ming is off as well down into turn 5. That first run for them pros is not a good one, and neither is it for Luke Maxwell as he loses that place to Halliburton.
Yeah, 3 into 1's never going to work down at turn 5 there. It just closes up that little bit too much for that. And you saw the results just there. Frank, I must say, absolutely robbed on the start. He's been Halliburton, Maxwell, Mallow, Larson, Friedrich all ahead of him, and he was down in P9 and 10 for a little while until that incident at turn 5. But completely mugged. Was absolutely sleeping on the start.
Yeah, did not get off at the start line whatsoever. Viscara is not in the session. You see, as they come down here, there is Kiki Ming in that brightly liveried car. There's contact with Buson. Ming misses his braking point. So does Mike Buson as well. Buson, the man from Somerset, goes off the side of the circuit. There also looked like Tim Bertie had taken a trip off the side of the road as well. Not an ideal scenario for Maxwell. Has opened up a bit of a gap to Mallow. Buson is trying to battle past Eric Harmon, obviously one of the Americas drivers. We've got Harmon, Place, Murray, Franco Sanchez is in this one as well, but the rest of them are Europeans, as Buson is just about going to take that 12th position away from Harmon coming down into that turn 1. So he has gone through, and Buson does make it through. Kane Halliburton under pressure from this man Luke Maxwell there at the moment. Kelsey, could be an interesting battle at the front of the field.
Yeah, good look at those times as well. Much closer than it was with the AMs, but they didn't have as huge of an incident as the AMs did in those opening stages of the race. So it looks like Maxwell and Halliburton, they've got themselves a nice little gap that's building up, and Maxwell will try and do his best to stay with Halliburton and put the pressure on him. He'll have Mallow though, who looks like he might have a little bit of energy in the tank there. He might just have something to say about this fight toward the front, and then of course there's an absolute train of cars. There's 11 cars all within about a second of one another as they go down. You know, it's Halliburton, Maxwell, Mallow, Larson, Friedrich, Frank, McHutchinson, Sanchez, Bertie, Murray and Place, all very close to one another.
Yeah, they definitely are here as well. Jürgen Frank trying to battle away with Andreas Friedrich. John McHutchinson's trying to close on to the back. He's going to use that run down now from turn 10 down into the kink here before they go through the kink. Now coming into Canada corner. Jürgen Frank up behind Friedrich. Is he going to be looking at making a move into Canada corner? He's not. Kettle Larson's in front of both of these drivers here as well. Jürgen Frank's on the outside of turn 13B. He's not, is he? He is. He sweeps around the outside of Andreas Friedrich, and well, that was well done from Jürgen Frank there as well. Outside of 13, quite an impressive move.
One move was set up from the kink onwards. I think you saw him just get that better run, and then he sort of snuck around the outside and got it all done, didn't he? He positioned that car extraordinarily well, and he's going to have to look in his mirrors, though, because Friedrich's coming back at him, looks to the inside of turn number 1, doesn't quite get it done, perhaps backs out. He may now come under some pressure from McHutchinson just behind in that orange car, who's going to look at him around the outside of turn number 3. Doesn't quite get that move done. In the background there as we watch Frank go around. Let's see as they now go side by side. This is through 4 and down towards turn number 5. Who is going to emerge out in front of the other? I think McHutchinson might be the driver who gets it. It is. He's going to go much later on the brakes. Gets back onto the racing line, gets it done, and now actually Friedrich's coming under some pressure from Sanchez in the red car.
Oh, contact! Contact with Sanchez. That's allowed Bertie to come back through once more. Friedrich now down into 9th. Then you got Stephen Place battling away with Murray, who was supposed to be in the pro race originally and not in the AMS. So I'm sure that's going to be open for discussion. Luke Maxwell, Kane Halliburton still battling it out for the front here as well. Just broken into that 24-minute mark remaining at Road America. We're going on to another long circuit after this, guys. We will be going to Spa. It's going to be very, very tricky. But for Luke Maxwell over Kane Halliburton, he's going to be looking now as well, going into turn 12, into Canada corner. Doesn't make it through here. Watches on the exit into 13A. He goes over the curb. They're going to come sweeping past us. There they go. With Mallow is also not far behind here, Kelsey. This is one battle that's going to develop into a nice little freeway by the end of this.
Yes, it is. These threes all very close to each other, and they'll all be squabbling for the slipstream here, and it'll be on Halliburton really to try and break it if he can. But I don't think there's much point weaving along this straight. It doesn't really do you all too much. There's plenty of chances to go, but here they go side by side now in towards turn 1. This is a move for the lead. Maxwell breaks as late as he dares, gets in ahead. Is Halliburton going to try and go underneath him, perhaps down through turn 2 and 3? Not quite. He's going to hold station because he'll have another opportunity as they run all the way down to turn 5. A much longer run. These three are going to be battling all throughout the rest of this race, I hope, as they go through. Is it going to be 3 wide as they go down into turn 5? I don't think they're going to be close enough for that, but Halliburton might be close enough to initiate a move in towards number 5. He looks for it, doesn't quite go for it at that stage. He's just happy to sit behind for the time being.
Yeah, he's got 23 minutes here. He's going to drive as a bit of a defense man for Maxwell. He's got Mallow behind. These guys are from different teams as well. So let's see what happens with Maxwell in the ITGL Racing Radical with Kane Halliburton in that Mag Performance SRT car there as well. And it's going to be interesting. Now, to be honest, Kane Halliburton doesn't need to rush this, does he? Halliburton can just sit there and wait, and he could probably even use the run down the Moraine sweep on the final lap to make his move if he really wanted to. You know, he's got to have the patience to sit there, mind you, but we're not saying a no opportunity to that.
No, exactly. I mean, I think he's in a good position anyway. You know, he's P2. He's in the middle of this fight. He's behind. He's got the slipstream now, I guess. So he's got that to use to his advantage in this race. And there's a long, long way to go. Yeah, I think what we did about eight or 9 laps. 18 laps, was it really?
No, that don't work out. 18 times 2, that's 36. That don't work out. It was about 16 laps, I think. 15, 16 laps.
That's 16. So we're very early on in this race anyway, so there's a lot of time to go. And look how close they all are, though. They're bumper to bumper as they're going down. This is great stuff.
Yeah, absolutely amazing battling happening here as well, and it's been a class race from these guys once more, doing an absolute stellar job there, and very impressed from all of these drivers, to be fair. It was 15 laps he completed. Halliburton's now looking at going on the inside. Is Mallow going to try and follow through here? Mallow sticks his nose up the long side Luke Maxwell, and just like that, Maxwell goes down in 3 places. Kiki Ming battling it out with Stephen Place and Mateus Moraes on this one as well for 12th, 11th and 10th place respectively. Ming does go up the inside and he does make it through into 11th. That's going to allow Eric Harmon to have a go at Stephen Place as well. Always going to be tough. Harmon looks like he did make it through over Place once more. Maxwell now got Jürgen Frank right behind him.
Say Ming's car looking very much like those lollipops you'd get on the seafront.
Yes.
Those really, really big ones.
Yep. Yeah, they're massive circle ones with the swirls on. But to be fair, at least you can actually recognise him. I think that's one of the things, isn't it, with Kiki B? You can actually recognise what's going on. Kettle Larson under mounting pressure from the Scotsman here, the William Wallace of the SR10. John McHutchinson fighting out with the Norwegian warrior. That is Kettle Larson here from the IGL Coatings E-Racing team. John McHutchinson from Team Radline. It's a great battle with these guys. You can see that front 4 breaking away. Mallow tries to weave over the circuit. He's now having a go here as well. Mallow's on the defensive here. You can see he's driving defensive, Kelsey. And in the meantime, he's allowing Maxwell to close up and close up and close up.
Yeah, here comes Frank, though. He's snuck in on this fight. He's broke late. And he's just about avoided contact with the rear of Mallow, I think. Got his way through past Maxwell, and is now down at the back of this train where he doesn't want to be. Meanwhile, McHutchinson's made a move up as well. He now has the freedom of the clear air. He may even get himself into this fight. We could see a 5, maybe even 6 car fight.
Yeah, it could be if these front 4 just keep fighting as we're going down into down the Moraine sweep now. Kettle Larson on that inside line. He does take that position over John McHutchinson once more. I bet McHutchinson is just sitting there saying, please stop. We can do this. Kiki Ming and Mateus Moraes, oh dear, have had a little bit of a ta-ta-ta as Kiki Ming comes now on to the entrance of turn 5. He's he's going to turn in on him. He is. Saw that one coming from an absolute mile off for Murray. It turned in on Ming. Now the question will be, was Ming alongside? Well, we can have a look and see now as they're coming down towards us here on what was lap 6. He is well alongside, isn't he? Rear wheel lapping over these front. Murray there, unfortunately, that should have been left space for Murray. It's yeah, not been a good one for Murray either, unfortunately.
No, certainly hasn't. He's had 2 big incidents in the 2 races that he's been in thus far, but he really only should have been in 1, but we won't talk too much about that anymore. But yes, not the best look for Murray and his campaign at the moment. Looks like Larson's managed to fight back with McCutchinson, so the Scotsman once again back behind in P6. But here we go, this battle's getting ever hotter as they go, looking to go 3 wide perhaps into turn 1. They are, as they go through, and it looks like Halliburton's been robbed perhaps, or who's going to come out on top through this. It's all still so close between them, but it looks like Frank, who's had that awful start but come back through, is he going to reclaim his lead in this race? He is, but it may be short-lived. It's now 3 wide all the way down towards turn number 5. They're going through 4 now, which is not really a corner, but there's still 3 wide as they go. Who is going to be the most daring as they go in towards this? This could get very spicy indeed. But it looks like Frank's the big loser. Mallow just pushes out Halliburton that little bit wide, which is going to invite Frank back into this as they go up the hill into turn number 6 now. And it's Mallow, Frank even, who comes ahead of Halliburton, as there's been a lovely little shuffle in this top 4 battle.
Yeah, Mallow, Frank, Halliburton, Maxwell there, Larson and McCutchinson are closing. They've got 16 minutes to try and do the job. Franco Sanchez is having a go with Friedrich and Tim Bertie. Once more, we've got 3 German drivers in the shape of Frank and Friedrich and also Tim Bertie battling it out here as well. Well, let's see, keep an eye on the front 4 as well. It looks like Jürgen Frank has just gone past Mallow. Mallow's going to try around the outside. He's going to try cutting underneath him, coming out of Canada corner. It's got to be Frank. It's got to be on the defensive now once more, and it's going to be tough down that long straightaway right at the beginning of the this race as well. What's going to happen here? Because this is going to be tough for them.
Yeah, it is. I think every lap they're going to be switching around and coming in, and I think the way they're battling at the moment is just bringing Larson and McCutchinson into this. And you know, if it continues to battle this way, we might see a major incident as we're going once again. It looks like Frank's on the defensive. Mallow's going to try go around. Can Halliburton follow him through as well? Doesn't quite. They merge side by side, coming down towards turn number 3 now. And I think Mallow's going to take the corner, swooping around the outside in that grey car, number 13, I think it is, on the side. Yes, it is. And here comes Halliburton now. He's going to have a move on Frank. Frank sits in the slipstream to defend, and there's a lot of great driving going on here, and Larson and McCutchinson are just sitting there in the background waiting for their chance to get involved in this scrap.
They definitely are. You can see it's a 4.5k average strength of field at the moment, and your leader is Alfredo Mallow out in front, breaking into the last 15 minutes. The guys here have got this down. Tim Bertie has unfortunately gone off the side of the circuit. He lost a place to Franco Sanchez, has Bertie, and now it's all about Bertie's got to try and close up to Sanchez. John McCutchinson, Larson has got the gap down to Luke Maxwell below a second. It could be a 6-car fight here going into the last 14 minutes of this race for the winner, for the man who's going to take the opening race in the Pro Championship. Who will it be? Well, stay with us, get your drinks, get your popcorn, sit back, like, subscribe, turn on the bells. Who's going to know? Well, we're going to find out very shortly. So let's see what happens here and how this one goes, Kelsey. I think it's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, it is. I'll just go through all the lap times here. Larson out of this top 6 fight at the moment. He's the slowest out of the 6 drivers who are all fighting. He's on a 59.758. And then if we take a look through, there's Halliburton on a 5.70, 59.570 that is. Then there's a 5.62 from McHutchinson. Then it's a 5.16 from your leader at the moment, Mallow, who's putting on some defensive moves once again. And then you've got Luke Maxwell on a 59.393, and your fastest driver out of these 6 and fastest driver on the circuit is currently Jürgen Frank in the car number 176 with a 59.024 out there. So, and he's closing in on Mallow, trying to go for another move.
Side by side going down into turn 5. Mallow on the inside. Maxwell's trying to have a go at Halliburton as well. There's got to be room left. That is how you leave room at this time. And these 4 still battling it out. Larson's gap's down to half a second. It's going to be a 6-car fight going into the last 13 minutes. Alfredo Mallow, Jürgen Frank, Halliburton all battling it out. Luke Maxwell, Kettle Larson and the Scotsman John McHutchinson all coming into it here, and now it's going to get interesting. Kelsey, who's your money on out of this top 6? Because it could be anybody's.
I don't know, it could be. I think I'll put my money on Frank. He's very fast out there. He's come all the way from P6 after the start to come back into this fight, and he's been driving exceptionally well, and they're all doing an incredible job. And I think I was going to say McHutchinson, he needs to not get frustrated at this stage. He's stuck behind Larson, the slowest of the 6 cars in this fight here. And, you know, he tried to make a pass a few laps ago, couldn't quite keep it as Larson got himself back ahead. But I think if McHutchinson can get ahead of Larson's car, then he can get himself much more cemented into this fight, and they can maybe drop Larson and it will be a 5-car fight rather than 6. But currently Hutchinson with the biggest gap out of them, and it's going to be hard to tell, James, because there's so many straights, so many opportunities for moves that it's going to keep shuffling as Frank takes the lead.
Yeah, it does. Alfredo Mallow, Jürgen Frank running side by side. Mallow manages to hold on here as well. Does a great job keeping back Frank at the moment as they're going into turn 3. Through they go over the curb. Now we're going to see the gap start closing down, and McHutchinson needs to close this gap. Otherwise, it's going to be dropped like a bad penny for John McHutchinson, and he will not want that. Frank's now having a go at Mallow. Halliburton's tucked in once more. Maxwell's there. Larson's there. Who's going to get this? Mallow's going to try and have that inside. Halliburton's now going to try and cut back on that run up into turn 6. Up over the hill they go, under the bridge through turn 6, and it is Kane Halliburton that puts himself into 2nd place. Jürgen Frank down to 3rd. That's assisted John McHutchinson to get his lap that time down below that 7/10 mark. So it's still going off now, and now Kelsey, and now we've got a 6-car fight.
Oh yes, we do. They're all close to each other, so close that they're almost touching as they're going around this Road America circuit. It's great stuff to watch, absolutely edge of your seat stuff. And Mallow's opened up that bigger gap now. He's got about 6/10 to play with, but it's not going to be enough. I think they're still going to be brawling all the way to the checkered flag, I feel, as they go through. I must say it was very smart racing from Halliburton, who sat behind Frank and Mallow as they were battling into turn 5, and he was happy to wait for the opportunity to come through. He was patient, and then he tucked himself under Frank, didn't he? Got the better run out of turn 5, and then took the corner for 6, and then got himself into position number 2. It was a great little move from Halliburton and some fantastic display of racecraft.
Yeah, it is. Jürgen Frank's now coming at Halliburton once more. He wants to get that position back. Does Jürgen Frank. He's looking at the inside of turn 1. He's trying to make his way round the inside. He does make it through. Does Jürgen Frank. Halliburton's going to be there once more, though. Mallow's got about a 6/10 lead at the moment, and if they're not careful, Mallow's going to open up that 7/10 where you don't kind of get that draft anymore here, Kelsey. They've got to try and stop that fighting, and got to try and have a go at getting onto the back of Mallow once more, because I can tell you this, if they let him go, he'll be gone.
Oh, and it's the same story all over there, isn't it? They all 6 of these cars want to be in Mallow's position right now. They want to be the guy in the lead. They want to be controlling the pace of this race. And, you know, the only way you're going to do that is to pass the other cars. So if you're Halliburton or Maxwell Larson and McHutchinson, you want to get past the likes of Frank in order to have a go at Mallow. But if the 5 of them keep fighting and leave Mallow to just sort of drive around the circuit in the open air as well, then it's going to be game over, really, because he's just going to run away with it. They'll spend so much time worrying about each other that they won't focus on the prize that they all are chasing after, which is a win for this race. So there's got to be a nice balance between working together and fighting one another, and Frank looks like he's got a great run through the kink.
Yeah, he has. He's just made that position past Alfredo Mallow once more. Halliburton still in there. Mallow and Frank still going at it. 8 minutes of racing remaining. We got a Friedrich trying to pull away from Sanchez, trying to pull away from Bertie, then Eric Harmon in still even place, battling it out for the Americas there as well. The Europeans dominating the top 7 places, and the Americas coming in with their first front runner, which is Franco Sanchez, who has got Tim Bertie for company, the German, trying to come through. I think Bertie's going to have that run on that inside line. He is, as they go down into turn 1. There's another swap for the lead. Mallow and Frank are running side by side, but Bertie and Sanchez are also running side by side. Bertie doesn't have enough. Up front we go. Alfredo Mallow with Jürgen Frank. Is this going to end in a horrible way, or are we going to see great racing right the way down here, Kelsey?
I'm hoping the latter of those two, James, but I'm so surprised they've not come together thus far. You can see Halliburton, he's got nowhere to go. He's looking for somewhere to stick his nose in and perhaps go for a move, but he's just got nowhere, and he's got to be careful as well. Maxwell got very close to him while he was sort of going left and right, just trying to have a little look into this. I'm so shocked about how they've not all come together yet. They've been so close all race long, the 6 of them, and they've just been fighting away so tremendously.
Yeah, they definitely have here as well. Don't forget, when you're sitting over 8k for the likes of Mallow, for the likes of Frank and Halliburton, you're at Larson at 6, John McHutchinson at 6, Luke Maxwell is the lowest at 4.3, but he's still mixing it in there as well. Their top 6 are separated here on this racetrack by about 1.6 seconds, and now we're going down into Canada corner. There's going to be about 3 laps remaining for these guys: Mallow, Frank, Halliburton, Maxwell, Larson and Sanchez. Sanchez still got Friedrich and Bertie. Friedrich has got Bertie now, but makes a mistake coming out of Canada corner. That's going to allow Bertie to come back through, but it is this run out of this first corner here, Kelsey, where the gaps just seem to be coming down.
Yeah, it does. And a little update on your times at the moment as far as the lap times for these 6. It's all changed a little bit, and I said during qualifying we might see somebody dip into the 1:58s, and we have. Jürgen Frank has set a 1:58.920, and all the drivers that little bit quicker now. Maxwell's picking up the pace of 59.0 now. He's moved up to the second quickest out of the lot of them. And I think one thing you can say about racing, James, is that it's good for you can be ranked as high as you like, I think, but if you've got a track that clicks with you, that's worth an extra few tenths of a second, I think. And that might be the case for Maxwell, as we again see another eruption of side-by-side action as Mallow and Frank battle it down in towards turn number 5. Is Halliburton going to try and make a move? He looks for a better run, but it looks like Frank's just going to try and cover him off, try and go for a move once again into turn 6 as they go side by side, and there's still no contact between them. This is great racing.
There it is, up into turn 8 they go. Halliburton trying to make his way around the outside of Frank. It was interesting there as well, watching back from Halliburton over Maxwell. Maxwell was trying to go to the inside. Halliburton said no. He then tried the outside. Halliburton said no. There was just nowhere for Maxwell to go. He didn't have anywhere on that race circuit to try and get past Halliburton. He's just got to settle in there, and he's got to try. I think, to be honest, he's relying on the fact that Mallow and Frank are getting side by side every opportunity they can. They've got another side by side coming out of turn 12. Mallow's got to surely nestle in behind him as you see Halliburton, all the cars just go over the line, and as I say, it's literally about 1.2 seconds at the moment, because all of them are going to have to draft, including John McHutchinson.
Yeah, and Mallow's been the slowest out of the lot of them, but he hasn't had the draft throughout these last few laps, but he's going to have that now, as Frank has now taken the lead. We should have been keeping count of how many times the lead has changed over this race, because I'm sure it's reached double figures at this point. Are they all going 2 by 2 through turn number 1? At least 4 of them. As we went through, Mallow and Frank is a familiar sight between those two. Now Larson's getting his elbows out, and he's going to go on the attack on Maxwell. They're side by side now as we go through this next corner, and Larson gets himself into P4.
Yeah, he does, and that was one of the things we were talking about for Luke Maxwell. He can't afford to lose too much time behind Kyle Larson. Larson is quick in his own right. Maxwell's going to make the move back through. Mallow's made the move over there as well. Halliburton battling it out. He's still trying to get through into that second place is Kane Halliburton. He does make it into second. Maxwell's got passed back through on Kyle Larson. McHutchinson's now climbing over Larson as well, as they're coming into the left-hander of 8 before they go round that sweeping long right-hander of the carousel here. Turn 9 on that run down into the kink, which is turn 10, and they're going again. We're going to sit back and watch it from John McHutchinson's point of view on this one. Through they go over that final curve of the exit of turn 10, coming into kink. What they're going to be able to do here is just a straight one through for these cars, and now Halliburton has got Frank. He's now having to go at Mallow. CPU crash for Stephen Place, unfortunately for him. Halliburton's trying to put it up the inside. He looked all the way there, Kelsey. Didn't quite make it through this time around.
No, not on this occasion, but there's still, well, I say plenty of time. We're on the penultimate lap here, I think. It's going to be ticking down. Yeah, definitely the penultimate lap by the time they reach the line. So this is it. This is what this battle has been waiting for. It's been erupting all throughout the race, and this is it. If you've got anything left in the car, anything left in yourself, now is the time to use it. And here comes Frank. Look at the speed he's got in that yellow car, the 176, trying to make a move on Halliburton. Maxwell wants to get involved as well, trying to find a way. There's no way through. Is there going to be any contact, any high drama in these last tour of the Road America circuit for the pros? Not this time as we go, but we still got plenty of corners, and Frank's got himself back ahead of Halliburton.
There he has, Jürgen Frank ahead of Halliburton now. Down the Marine Sweep we go into turn 5. They're a little bit more spread out for this last lap action. Onto the brakes, off the brakes they go, these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 still going at it here as well, and still going to be battling away once more with Mallow, with Frank, with Halliburton, with Maxwell, with Larson, and with John McHutchison. I don't know if McHutchison's got the pace here. I'm just wondering, he's not been able to make a move forward within the draft. He's been dropping some time as well. I'm wondering if he just doesn't have the pace here, Kelsey, as they come through what will be turn 9 out of the carousel for what will be the final time this evening. And at the moment it's Alfredo Mallow, Jürgen Frank, Kane Halliburton, but this could all go off down into Canada corner.
Yeah, it certainly could. There's a long run down towards the Canada corner now. If anyone's going to get it, there he goes. Here's Frank. Is he going to see it around the outside? Halliburton, look at the closing speed he's got, but he's just met with a wall of red lights and SR10 rear as he has nowhere to go. And let's see, Mallow emerges. Maxwell, Frank's dropped it as well. So Maxwell has got himself onto the last place at the podium in the final stages of this race.
Yeah, Maxwell putting it into third here as well, but it is going to be Alfredo Mallow. He's trying to bait the draft as well on that run down to the line. It's going to be Mallow, it's going to be Halliburton, Maxwell, Frank, all over the line together with McHutchison in 6th. What's going to happen with Sanchez? He is going to hold on from Burt, he is going to hold on from Friedrich there as well. Eric Harmon's going to come over the line, and a job done for him once more. Great racing from all of these pros, and we've got Buson battling away with Murray. So in the pros it was Mallow took the win with Halliburton in 2nd place. A great job from him with Maxwell in 3rd, Frank in 4th. So yeah, an interesting one here as well. And your pole man out of all of that was Jürgen Frank. So Frank's going to get an extra point. So he's going to get 18 is Jürgen Frank. But let's bring you up the results of this one and we can give you the full rundown. It was Alfredo Mallow in first with Kane Halliburton second, Luke Maxwell third with Jürgen Frank in fourth, Kettle Larson in fifth, John McCutcheon in sixth. The top six separated by 1.5 seconds. Franco Sanchez seventh, Tim Bertie eighth, Andres Friedrich in ninth, Eric Harmon 10th, Mateus Murray in 11th, Buson 12th, place 13th. Kiki Ming and Vizcarra there did not finish the race, and as you can see, Stefan Mellis was not in this race here either. Right, guys, we're going to pop back on to that fun, wonderful BRB screen as we're looking at changing sessions for Spa with the AMs. Okay, guys, we are back here as well. Now we've moved on to the mountains of Belgium here, and what a stunning race this should be. We are into qualifying of the AMS at Spa, and currently James Barry is out in front, who took that win in race 1, mind you. So let's see what James Barry's going to be able to do here, Kelsey. Could be an interesting one.
Yeah, it could be. We're nestled in the what they sort of call as a microclimate of the Ardennes in Spa-Francorchamps. It's a lovely little racetrack. It's iconic, in fact. As you go through these corners, you've got La Source, then Al Rouge and Radion, and all the way down to Les Carmes, through Rivage, No Name, Pouon, the Campos chicane, then you've got the Stavelos, then there's all the way through Blanchimont and the bus stops, and you could call it, these corner names have many names, but that's the ones I know them by at the very least. And, well, it's a staple of motorsport.
It definitely is here as well, but it is going to be, as you say, different names across the board. It depends on whether or not you're old school like me, and they're going into the bus stop, up through the Kemmel, into Lacombe, down through Rivage, No Name, Pouon, Fagnier, Paul Ferrer, the double right-hander before they get onto Blanchimont. So there's going to be an interesting one. Different names, different places at different times, depending what website or what racetrack or what format you're looking at here once more. But Barry out in front, Haig, Underdown, Benoit, Waters, Segal, Graf, Hearn and Klausing here once more. Let's bring you up to date with the AM standings, okay? So while they're driving around trying to get some times on the board, this is the situation. James Barry, Kim-Andre Bjorklund, Max Siegel, Ben Underdown, Mike Clausen, Joel Jacklin, Cedric O'Hearn, Richard Hearn, Stefan Mellis and Andrew Inop. There are your top 10. Then you've got Krasik, Benawale, Davies, Robertson, Kadru. Is it Kadra? Kadra, it's got to be, right? Gordon Haig and David Walters there as well. Now in the pros, we've had the standings come through, and it is Alfredo Mello out in front with Kane Halliburton in second, Jurgen Frank in third, Luke Maxwell, Kettle Larson, John McCutcheon, Franco Searches, Tim Burton, Andres Friedrich and Eric Harmon round out the top 10. So great racing from the pros in that one, though. That was very good going into the it was good going all the way through the race, to be fair. How they didn't make contact, I would never know. But then again, I suppose they're 8K for a reason.
Yeah, I think that's got to go down as one of the best races I've ever had the pleasure of commentating on. That was absolutely fantastic. From the word go, the 4 of them were nip and tuck, and then there were 6 of them halfway through the race because they were fighting so much that you had Larson and McCutcheon who caught often to the back of it, and they may not have been able to make up much of that fight, but they certainly made it more interesting with the top 4 having to keep an eye behind them as Maxwell was coming under pressure, and Frank and Halliburton and Mallow were all fighting each other as well when they had the pressure of something happening. I'm so shocked that they didn't make contact. There were so many moments where they were 2 abreast, and there's a few times where they were going 3 into one corner, but they were all doing an exceptional job, leaving each other space, being respectful, and able to give us one fantastic evening of racing. And I'm hoping they can continue that on to the race after this, but for now we're here with the AMs.
Yeah, we are here with the AM fight of James Barry, Bjorklund, Inop, Haig, Underdown, Hearn, Benawalid, Walters, Siegel, Graf has joined us for this one. Clausen, Robertson, O'Hearn, Jacklin, Max Davies, Stefan Mellis here as well. So let's see what happens. Yeah, that's literally all we can do. And at the moment, Barry's out in front on a 2:12.913. I think with Spa, though, Kelsey, it's going to be that draft down that Kemmel Straight that's going to be causing the major incidents, I think, as well, and the major overtakes, because it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, it is. I think Spa, you can break it down into, it's often broken down to maybe 3 sectors, 4 sectors perhaps, but you can break it down into sort of 2 areas. You've got sectors 1 and 3, which are, at least from what I know of the track, are the very high speed, and then you've got 3 that's broken up by that bus stop chicane to finish it off. And of course sector 1 that's got the source, which is probably the slowest corner throughout the whole sector, and then you get nice and twisty and technical through that middle sector. You've got to be on it, and that's where you'll see the agility of these cars really come into life. You'll see them throwing it through the likes of Puon and No Name as fast as they can, and it gets a little bit awkward going through Campos. Actually, you don't want to, the car wants to have the rear try and overtake you as you're braking into there, so you're going to have to be careful for that one. It's kind of awkward going into that first part, but then you sort of try and open it up and get on the power as early as you can through the next part of the corner, and you've got to then set yourself up for a nice run. But I think we've got, we've just had Road America where was plenty of chances to overtake, and I think we're going to have the same thing here. There's going to be there's 2 less straights, more or less, but they're longer, and there's more chance for the draft to show its true effect, as you can be. I don't know how fast these cars can manage to go through Blanchimont, but it's going to be a pretty high speed, and they'll be closing in on cars ahead of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we are going to come down now. All the cars are going to be able to finish off. Is Andre Bjorklund going to get that pole position over Barry on that final lap there? Bjorklund, no! He misses out by 1,000th of a second. Walters in the 213s in up there as well. Gordon Haig coming over the line, nestling it in 12. What about Mima de Graaf? It will be the last one. Stefan Mellis, no time on the board for him, but he will start down near the back of the field. So Spa's going to provide its challenges for some, Kelsey, and it's going to be a great race for others.
Yeah, as you saw James Barry celebrating there, doing some donuts, I sort of sprung to mind, if somebody does manage to put in a time, which he clearly was confident that it wasn't going to happen, he would have looked a little bit silly now, wouldn't he? It would have been on one of those compilations where you celebrate just that little bit too early.
Yeah, it definitely has. I'm not quite sure what Gordon Haig got himself up to here, but he's got no front nose cone on that car, so I'm just going to have a look and see where what he did. Okay, that's not going to help, not going to lie there from Gordon Haig as he went and thundered into the barrier. So we're just waiting for the quality results to come up, and then we can give you them final results. Let's see what happens here with the AMS live from Spa. Who's going to take that World Final Championship? Don't forget, it was Barry, Bjorklund, Segal and Underdown, your top 4. At the top, it's Barry, Bjorklund, Walters, Inop, Hearn, Haig under down, and Segal is all the way down in 9th. But nothing, let's not count him out, because as we've seen before, he did make his way through the field. James Barry sitting on pole position with Kim Andre Bjorklund in 2nd, David Waters in 3rd, Andrews Inop 4th, Richard 5th, Gordon Haig 6th, Ben Underdown is in 7th, John Bedawalid 8th, Max Siegel 9th, Mimo de Graaf, Mike Klausing and Joel Jacklin that round out the top 12. Guy Robertson, Cedric O'Hearn, Chris Max Davis, Samir Kajwara, Stefan Mellis there as well, and I believe the last 2 on the grid are not actually taking part in the race. I'm hoping Murray does not take part in this race after he's just done the pro race where he is supposed to be. So we are just waiting for James Barry as we're going to break into the last race of the evening for the AMS. We will keep the scores on the doors. I'm sure Kelsey's working frantically in the background with his calculator or his brain or whatever you hear ticking the most. If you hear ticking, run, because there's going to be one of them there for Kelsey Gill. And James Barry has not made, or is not on this grid at the moment. There he is. He is now, though. So James Barry is on the grid. He has made it. We are going to be up and running. The lights have come on them Radical SR10s here for this opening of Spa-Francorchamps. That 1 second race, last race. Who's going to take it? Is Barry going to get off the line? Is Bjorklund going to get off the line? We're going to find out in the next few seconds. The lights are coming on. 2, 3, 4, 5. It's green, green, green. James Barry. It did manage to get off there as well, but it is Bjorklund who's going to take the whole shot down into turn one. He's going to leave room on the inside for Barry if he wants to. Benawal, it's got up the inside of Underdown. And now for the first time here, Kelsey, we're on that run up through the Kevil Straight, and it's Bjorklund over Barry.
Yeah, Bjorklund once again gets an incredible launch out of his grid slot and ahead around the outside of the source. A great little run, but he'll have a long way to go yet. This is only the very, very beginning of this race. There's so much story to be unfurled. What's going on toward the middle of the field? They're all jostling for a position, all trying to get themselves a little bit of slipstream as they head down towards Les Combes for the first time this evening as they go through. Any contact between drivers at the moment, not quite. They're going through a nice Tiger livery SR10 there, going through, looks all clean, much better than the first race.
Yeah, it definitely does at the moment. That is, of course, Max Siegel battling away with David Waters, who's down 5, did not get off the line well. Gordon Haig has gone round, coming out of Rivage. Was that Gordon Haig all on his own, or was there gentle bit of helping? There was help from Ben Underdown there, and unfortunately for Haig, he's dropped down the order. So let's get back to the live racing, and it is Bjorklund out in front there with Barry tucked up right behind him. Then they got Richard Hearn, who's fighting out with Seagull, who's up 4 places, 3 places now as he's just lost a place. 2 Underdown round the outside, coming into Kirkpool for air. David Waters is in this mix once more here as well. John Benawal and Guy Robinson, but it's all about these front 2. It's all about James Barry. It's all about Bjorklund. Who's going to get it here? Because Barry's already got a point, let's not forget, over Bjorklund due to the fact that he took that pole position. So +1 for Barry already. That's put him up on 22. So it's going to be tough for Bjorklund now.
Yeah, it certainly is. I'm just working away at the calculator. If it all finishes as it is, it's going to be Barry's, well, Barry 42 points, and I think, yeah, he'll still win it even if he finishes P2, I think. The point difference isn't going to be too much, so Barry would actually need to drop down even further if Bjorklund's going to have a chance of snatching this. So Barry's not got to do too much work in order to get this one.
No, he definitely hasn't, but there is a close one behind with Richard Hearn and Ben Underdown. Underdown's looking races. He's going up now through El Rouge Ramadi on over the curb they go. Here comes Ben Underdown in that little pocket rocket SR10. He's going to try and have a move surely down into Lacombe. We go round the back of the trees. Not an ideal shot. They're coming down towards us now. Underdown did not make it through. Neither did Seagull. Neither did Waters. Kajora up 9 places there as well, with Andrew Sinop sitting in front of Benawalid. He's going to have a go as well. Gordon Haig has now jumped back to the pits here, and unfortunately for Gordon Haig, it's not going to be a great evening for him. I think he's just going to nestle in and unfortunately take the well, I think it's probably going to go out here as well, and he does do it in ceremonious fashion, says Gordon Haig, who's probably highly frustrated with himself once more, as we're now going into the last 26 minutes on lap 2, and at the moment it's Bjorklund and Barry, and we think by the maths it's going to be Barry's championship here, because there's no way Bjorklund can get him. He needs Barry either to make a mistake and put himself off the side of the circuit, or he needs Richard Hearn to pressurise Barry, and at the moment for Richard Hearn, he's got Ben Underdown tucked up right behind him.
Yeah, it's all about the Hearn train, isn't it? He's got Underdown, Seagull, Walters, Kadura all behind him, all chasing after that final spot on the podium, and then he's 4.4 seconds back to the leaders, and that gap's just growing and growing and growing. It's going to be probably about 5 seconds within a few corners time, I'd have thought. But yeah, Barry, Bjorklund, they're just well out there ahead. They've checked out. Now they're going to have a little fight between themselves. There's Kadura making a move on Walters. Looks like he's got himself into P6. Hopefully nice and cleanly this time as they go. Oh, not another issue for Inop. He's gone down to P12 now.
Yeah, he's done something here as well. David Waters. Oh, Kadura. Bro.
Ooh.
Oh, and that was a Virtual Racing Peru guy behind him now. I believe that was Inop all on his own. And Inops, I think, caused it a day as well. But what did Mimo de Graaf and Andros Inop do here? Because I'm quite interested to see what they got up to. There's Mimo de Graaf, where Inop's trying to come back through, spins again, and unfortunately it's not an ideal scenario. And David Walters has had another moment. Was this all on his own? Was Walters here? David Walters, whoa, where are you going? No, Walters calls it a day as well, unfortunately. I think we're losing drivers quite rapidly towards that back end. Walters, Inop, Ahern, Haig, and as we know, Capella and Murray there as well. I'm trying to choose my words in a way where I probably am not going to offend this gentleman. Now, I'm not really sure which other way to put it, right? Because normally I don't mince my words, guys. If anybody knows or knows me, I normally come out and say it as it is here. Didn't have a great first race, right, at Kajura. He was involved in 2, I think maybe 3 incidents. Just been involved in his first one already with a very aggressive rocket move past David Walters that pushed David Walters off the side of the circuit at the bus stop, and he made his way through there. Now, me personally, and now this is just my personal preference of opinion at this moment in time, if I was the stewards in this, I would be jumping all over that young man right about now. One of the ways I probably would be jumping in over all of them, but the fact that we've wrapped up nearly 4 incidents already would probably be a straight DQ, unfortunately for him. But maybe I'm being a little bit harsh there, Kelsey, but you can't go around doing that, unfortunately.
No, I think it's maybe his first incident in this race, but you know, you've got to look at the race prior as well. You know, maybe that's sort of black and white flag worthy again, or, you know, it could just be a straight black flag. But I can tell you one thing's for certain. After these races are wrapped up, the stewards are going to have a little bit more than a stern talking to Kajura, I think, because...
the problem is on that one, he come from so far back. I think that was the thing. If he'd come back from a normal length, that would have been okay. But... look, he's nowhere near Walters, and that is just crazy. That is just borderline ridiculous. That's borderline. You're giving everybody in a Red Bull livery the stereotypical move. Because where did you think you were going to go? You didn't pass him cleanly. You got yourself a slowdown in the process, and you're like 5, 6, 7, probably even 5 car lengths back, and then boom, here we go, dive. You know, I feel like I'm on a submarine going down to see the Titanic. You know, dive from Kajura. It's ridiculous. I've got to be honest, that is borderline ridiculous with the fact that there was 3 incidents in the first race. There's been another one here already. Oh, man, I would be... adios, senorita. I'll tell you that much. Goodbye. But that's just me personally on that one as well. But Barry... well, for Barry, really now, Kelsey, he's just got to stay behind Bjorklund, right? Even if we work it out, Bjorklund's going to take 20. That's going to put him on 39. Barry's going to be on 19. So that's going to give him 40, plus his extra one. That's going to be 41. So, personally, he's already 2 points, Bjorklund. He's just got to do what he's got to do here, isn't he? And try and... do something. Me personally, I don't know if I would let Barry through and try and pressurize Barry into a mistake or do something, because that's really his only hope at the moment.
Yeah, maybe Bjorklund's better off trying to fend off Barry, I think, perhaps, because if race drivers are quite predictable creatures, they all want to finish in the front, don't they? So there's no way Barry's going to back off from this. And look, he's closing already as they go down the Kemmel Straight now. And that number 10 car going defensive is Bjorklund, but I don't think it's going to work. But he draws back onto the racing line to give the draft once again as they come through Lacombe now. But I don't know, I think Barry might just be quite content just to sit there behind Bjorklund and not make any mistakes. But it's still a long way to go. We're about a third into this race now. And anything can happen in motorsport. That is the the big saying.
Yeah, it is, and I do fully understand that, and you know, maybe sometimes, guys, wearing my heart on my sleeve with commentary just wants to see great racing, and so far I've seen some, I don't know, questionable, I guess, maybe, who knows, I don't know. I really do not know here as well. I'm just going to carry on and commentate on Richard Earn and Ben Underdown, who are nose to tail for that 3rd and 4th spot. You've just seen Bjorklund and Barry both taken off track there and running. That's probably running out of Kurt Porphyre, going on to the Blanchimont there as well. Lucas Ferreira, stop putting smiley emojis or laughing emojis in YouTube chat there as well. But Underdown still having a go. He's going to try and go around the outside. He's not round that right hander. Don't do that. That's never really worked out for a lot of people I've seen. Now you can make that move. Now you can go on the inside. Please do not cajole him. You do not need to die from 7 cars back to try and make that move there as well. And now he is still behind him, is Underdown. It's looking like it's got to be a run up the Keble Straight. Guy Robinson here as well. You can see him coming towards us at the moment. That's Stefan Mellis there as we pick him up, coming into the bus stop. Mellis has missed his braking point. He missed his braking point, and Guy Robinson does make the move. So there you go. Great job from Guy Robinson there once more. Richard Hearn, Ben Underdown still going at it. Barry not making the move past him. Kelsey, as he say now, he's probably just sat there chilling.
Yeah, I think that's what I'd be doing as well. I mean, yeah, you want to go for the win, but you don't really have to, do you? Your championship's more or less your championship's more or less said and done once you sort of work it out through the maths. So he doesn't really need to go pushing all too much. But maybe he'll do it in the last few laps when he's got maybe a bit more risks to take. But we'll wait and see. Meanwhile, Underdown, has he had an issue, or just get past him?
No, Ben Underdown, I think he spun it up. Coming through here into Lacombe. He's done it on the exit, I think, into Mamadi we go. He's going to be kicking himself now, because that's not only dropped him further down, he's dropped him down into Kujura. Here, as they go into Pouron, and I swear this pass better go cleanly. Lucas Vieira, can't help while you comment about dive bombs. Well, you know, I try, Lucas Vieira, and I'm trying to keep calm about it, but unfortunately my love for racing just appears out and comes out in a way that doesn't always like it, and sometimes I do end up in the steward's room, I'm not going to lie. So, you know, hey-o, free spoken, free speech, we say, Kelsey Gill, don't we, while we commentary?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I certainly sit on more of the impartial territory as a commentator, but you know, I have different modes for everything. I know what it is to be a race steward. I know what it is to be a racer. I know what it is to be sat in the booth here as well. And we've got to be as objective as we can. Although every now and again we have our favourites or stuff like that. And yeah, Ben Underdown, he'll be absolutely kicking himself actually going through Malmedy and dropping it like that. It's the last part of that little section, and it's the part where you want to be trying to get on the power as early as you can, because it's going to help you run down towards Ravage, and it may even set you up for a little move if you're close enough to a car ahead. But you know, he's put his foot down a little bit too much, he's given it a bit too much pepper, and he's spun it round at Malmedy.
He definitely has. Clausen and Kajura going to be nose to tail now. Clausen's going to pull that in here once more. He's going to be looking. He's got to be getting down. For some reason, I've never seen the draft go up on the Kemmel Straight. Kajura just parks it in the middle of the circuit. Doesn't move left. Doesn't move right. Now can Clausen have a go here? Can he get through for Mike Clausen? He doesn't. He loses a lot of time going through Lacombe. And unfortunately for Clausen, he drops back away from Kajura as they're going down into Ravage, while Kajura does close up a little bit of time over Ben Underdown. Back up front we've got Barry and also Bjorklund, same as they were. I think this is where the difficulty is going to come in for us now, because we're expecting Barry to just sit there for 15 minutes. He's going to come out of this 2 points ahead with pole position. So, you know, if Barry is aware of that situation, man, I would just follow him. 8 minutes to go. 8 seconds, sorry, to the guy behind. They're coming. Richard Hurden there is driving all on his own in no man's land. He's got Siegel 2 seconds back. While behind that. Underdown, Kajura, Klausing, all losing time here. I would say this is the closest battle on screen or in the race, Kelsey, but I just don't think they're going to battle. I really do not think. I think this is just going to be as it is. As it is, and hold it.
Yeah, if I was in Barry's position, I think I'd be doing the same thing. I'd be sitting there thinking, right, I don't need to overtake him. I've just got to focus on my race. I've got to keep it nice and consistent, not make any mistakes, and see the checkered flag. But, you know, if an opportunity presents itself, maybe I'll send a little cheeky move. If the opportunity arises. Who's that round? That's Kajura. And you say karma works in his wonderful ways, and, well, there it is. That's as much as I'll say. That's as much as I'll venture off of the impartiality bench. But he's given it too much out of the bus stop and has ended up in a nice meeting with Barry R.
There he is there as well. Reversing. No. Oh, dearie me. So there you go. Chris Max Davis has had a moment, but I believe that may be on the fact that he's just entered into the pit lane as Chris Max Davis. So I've got a funny feeling he has gone into the pits. It looks like he has, and he's just taken it. Yep, he has. He's gone into the pits. Ben O'Wallid is now under pressure from Ben Underdown. Underdown's trying to make his way through and recover after his incident, of course. Don't forget, guys, if you are here, say hi, like, subscribe, turn on the bells, you know, to the JBB and the Radical Sim Racing channel, depending on which one you are watching it on at the moment. We are on both. We are multiple here as well. So welcome in to everyone once more, and thank you so much for joining us for what has been some very interesting racing so far here this evening, as Kim, Andre Bjorklund and James Barry have both been off track together, but I'm wondering here, Kelsey, whether or not that's just running wide. There's one. Yeah, it is. It's running wide, isn't it? Out of Pole Ferrer and then through probably onto Blanchimont. Yep, same again. 4 wheels off the side of the circuit, but them two. So that's racking up their off tracks, but at the moment, they're still fighting out here.
Yeah, that's one thing about running so close to another driver, isn't it? You get a tendency to start following their lines, and you do the same thing they do up ahead of you. It's a case of monkey see, monkey do, if you want to put it in simple terms. But it's easily done. That's the one corner where, you know, if you're not running wide on the entrance, you're running wide on the exit. So you're doing one thing or the other. But I think if you run wide on the entrance to that corner, then you might as well just put it flat to the floor and make sure you get the best exit possible, because it actually gains you out a little bit of time, and I think the same can be said vice versa.
Well, here we go. Is Barry going to seize his moment down the Camel Straight there, side by side? Barry on the right, Bjorklund on the left. Doesn't go for it again. He doesn't go for it, just holds station. What's happening with Underdown and Ben O'Wallid as they're now onto that Camel Straight. Coming down into Lacombe. Is Ben O'Wallid going to defend? Underdown sticks his nose out. He's going to make it through, I think. Is Ben Underdown? He does make it through over Ben O'Wallid, and Underdown are still trying to recover through. Kajura's into the pits. He's in the pits at the moment for Samira Kajura. Yeah, not sure what happened there, but he has left the pits once more. He's back out on track in 11th place, I believe, here. So there he is there. So Ben Underdown now has got to try and get onto the Max Siegel. 6 seconds, though, Kelsey. Big ask for Underdown.
Yeah, it is a big ask. And, you know, we're entering the latter stages of the race now, and there's, you know, he's got to get his foot down, but I think Ben O'Wallid's not going to leave him. He's sticking fairly close, and I actually think he's the faster out of the pair as we follow, but we'll see as we go, because actually I might be eating my words soon, because Underdown's opening up that gap. But it's going to be a big ask for him to get himself up towards to go. I think the gap of 6.2 seconds. It's not going to happen, I don't think, unless Segal has a moment or Underdown manages to really get his head down and really get into groove with this circuit. Or I don't see it happening or maybe he decides to just say, I'm going to just go straight on at the bus stop and gain this much time, which he'll obviously get told off for. But yeah,
it's going to be a difficult
far-fetched.
one. Yeah, it is. 2:13.35 from Underdown, 2:13.39 from Seagull. So, yeah, that's not going to be likely to be happening. What's going on the front? They're running side by side again. And Barry, again, does not make that aggressive move. He doesn't, as we said, need to. Benawalid is going to get the draft now over Underdown as they just come onto the Camel Straight. 9 minutes here as well. Is this going to be Barry's final? Is this going to be Barry's win? Well, to be honest, unless he makes a drastic mistake, it definitely will be, Kelsey, won't it?
Yeah, 100%. He needs to have dropped down. I think he'd need to finish 4th or lower in order to lose it, because he'd lose out on just enough points with Bjorklund going up to 38, then maybe it'd be 5th or lower then.
No, Bjorklund, I've got Bjorklund on 19. If he takes 20 for this win, he's going to be on 39. Barry's 2 points ahead. So if Barry drops down to 2019 18, he's got to go down to at least 3rd to get 18 points. 19 onto his 21, so no, 3rd's not going to do it. 4th, he's got to be down in 4th or lower, and I can't really see that happening unless he makes a grave error.
Yeah, certainly so. And I don't know, it's not going to happen, and I don't think he'll go for the move unless it's convincing. You saw him try and go for a move around the outside of Lecom a few laps ago, and he wasn't alongside enough and able to sort of justify it, so he backed off and continued to hold station as he is at the moment. And so it's not it's just going to sit like this and stay stagnant until Barry maybe gets bored and goes for a move, or it's maybe even forced to go for a move if Bjorklund makes a mistake out there as well. But it's certainly not the most thrilling end to the session, but it will be nonetheless a good job, Barry, I guess.
Yeah, but I think that's the thing, isn't it? It's not going to be the most thrilling. Barry has got no intention to overtake you, and I can see that. Chat, YouTube, hopefully you can see that as well. I don't think Barry's aggressive. I don't think he really needs to be. He can just sit, chill, and go from there. And 6.5 minutes, which is going to give him probably about another 3 laps, maybe at the most here. And it's not been a great thrill at Spa. I can't really think we can, it's not been it's not a spectacle in Spa. There we go. I was looking for something to rhyme with the thriller in Manila, so we can go with spectacle at Spa, was it? It's not been a spectacle here this afternoon for this one.
No, but I think we've got the pro race to come up straight after this, so that might be a bit of a spark, especially if the race we've just had at Road America is anything to go by. But we still had some interesting little bouts while we've been out there, and Bjorklund's done very well. To jump Barry off the start twice has been good, and he's gone from P2 to P1 both times, and has shown himself to be quite the challenger out there. But just the maths isn't in his favour, and neither are the mistakes from Barry, because he's just been able to sit there and do a good job.
Yeah, I think that's it, isn't it? Really, I think that the terminology for Barry was he did it all in the first race, and then he goes and takes pole, so he's automatically got 2 points ahead. Now, all they've done here is swap places, but Barry's sitting with a 2-point cushion. So, there's no need for him to go anywhere. He's just going to sit there and chill and basically do what pretty much anybody else would do. Any championship contender who can win the championship just by sitting here would do the same thing, because let's face it, he's got 10-second gap over Hearn, he's got 2 seconds over Segal, he's got 3 seconds over 5 seconds, over Underdown, who has closed the gap up, mind you, from 6, but I don't think he's going to have enough time, Ben Underdown, to get onto the back there. Barry just goes to the left-hand side, shows no intention whatsoever of remotely making a move. It's just all about where Bjorklund can pretty much drive his line. I don't think Barry's ever going to have intentions. 4.5 minutes to go, about another 2 laps here. So let's see what happens once more. Is Underdown making moves into Seagull? He has. He's taken about a second out of him at the moment. Is he going to have enough time? Well, based on the fact he did a 2:13.32, Seagull did a 2:13.84. He took basically 5 tenths out of him, but he needs to get more. And I don't think for Ben Underdown, as wonderful as Ben is, and and I've seen Ben in other races, I just don't think that's going to be possible. But for these guys, well, it is possible. Barry and Bjorklund I would say going at it, Kelsey, but they're not really, are they? It's been a very how can I follow my leader almost race. I think I'm looking for a word that I just don't know in my vocabulary, to be honest.
Yeah, I can't really think of a word myself, in all honesty, but it's just been a little bit of I guess a procession, if you want to call it that.
Yes, that might be the one.
That might be the word you're looking for.
Sounds better.
I was just having a little bit of a think, and it might have been a bit more interesting if, let's say, these 2 races, so the second AM race, your second pro race, perhaps had a reverse top 10 or reverse top 8, because then it adds that little bit of extra jeopardy in there. You do add in, the possibility of a sprint race causing absolute carnage, as we have seen before. But it just adds that little bit more jeopardy in there, doesn't it? It stops a situation like this, where Barry is just content to sit in P2, not go for a move, and that's it. Championships round up. We're all done here. And so that little reverse top 8, reverse top 10, it doesn't reverse the whole grid, so you sort of dampen the effect of any carnage that may come your way, but you add a little bit more work for the likes of Barry and Bjorklund to do, and it'll be an interesting move of watching them 2 go at it. And is he going to go at it? That's probably the closest he went to going for the move, as Bjorklund went as defensive as he possibly could. But we could have had these 2 fighting their way through the field, perhaps, which would have been a lot of fun. Yeah,
it would have been maybe a top 10, as you say, top 8, top 12 possibly as well. That might have made it exciting for us to be watching. And obviously we come in with high hopes into this because there was a few people involved. But unfortunately, the likes of Seagull, the likes of Underdown and Benawale just don't seem to have the pace to keep up here with these guys. You can see from 13 to basically 17, we've lost drivers. We've got Graf and O'Hearn a lap down, Mellis, Robertson, Jacqueline, Clausen, Benawale, Underdown not really near anyone. Underdown's got a bit of time coming out of Seagull in front, but really not really going to be enough. And it is all about these front 2 at the moment and what they're going to be able to do here as well. Kajura is now out, and I've got a funny feeling it may have something to do with this.
Oh, he's gone straight on.
Yeah, but the worst thing about that is not the fact that he did this, right? Because obviously, it's that and that coming across the middle of the track. Although you may have gone and did that intentionally, you also could have jeopardised anybody else around you. But hopefully that wasn't the intention, and he paid notice to who was in and around him and behind him there before he come over the circuit.
Yeah, I hope that the stewards have some sort of process for retiring on track like that, because it can prove to be dangerous. He came straight across the track, and he's lucky that there's no cars around. But really, if you're going to retire from a race, just pull over safely, or just
park it up, innit? Go into the pits, as you say, park it up, and have done with it. You don't need to go and do anything silly. Barry's now, to be honest, is he looking up the outside?
Yeah, it's
the last lap. He's going to give it a go. But for Barry, I don't really feel there. Maybe he doesn't know what we know, Kelsey. Maybe that's the problem. He doesn't quite know the ins and outs of where he's sitting at the moment and wants to have a go. The problem is with having a go is he can end up jeopardising his race, and that's going to be worse than anything.
He must know. I doubt that he went that entire race, 14 laps, and was unable to at least go for more than one convincing move. He had to have known.
Yeah. I think once he got that pole position, I think, to be honest, I would have known as well at that point, because, there's really no need. James, just stay there as far as we're concerned on the points. You're going to be on 41, Bjorklund's going to be on 39. So, yeah, job done for James Barry, really. The man with the default Radical livery. I guess he dislikes it. It didn't really change anything. But, props to Bjorklund. He gave it a go. He had a go coming up to the end of the end. He had to fight. He had to do what he did, but it was out of his hands when he got here. Bjorklund did what he did. He needed that pole position, though, mind you. He needed that extra one to make this interesting. He needed to win, which he did do, but it's still not going to be enough. And as these guys are going to come over the line, Bjorklund will take that victory. The line is there. Bjorklund comes over the line, takes the win. James Barry in second, but we believe James Barry is the champion here as well. We've got a funny feeling that James Barry does and will, and probably will, take that championship. So great job there. Richard Hearn comes over the line. Ben Underdown, Max Siegel as well. Ben Underdown comes over in fifth. Jem Badawala in sixth. Clausen in seventh. And then we've got Jacqueline and all the way down to Mino de Graaf, who I believe may have had an issue earlier on as well. So yeah, some great racing. But a very processional race. There we go. Look at me with a posh word, Kelsey.
Yeah, there you go.
Processional.
Every day.
Yeah. No, I might like that. I'll probably Google that, and it's not even a word. Sounds of a word.
Yeah, I don't know. Processional. I don't know. We'll look it up now. While we've got 5 minutes.
All right, mate. Well,
Let's see.
tell me if professional is a processional. It sounds a posh word. It's gotta be. Gotta be.
Yeah, processional. Yeah, it's a word.
It is a word. Absolutely. Right, as we wait for Graf to come over the line here as well, we will have a chat with Richard Hearn. Why we look at bringing in Richard in a very short minute, as we do now get the results for this race. And it is all about your champion. I think it's James Barry, but it is Bjorklund who finishes in first. Barry gets second. He has won this championship. Richard Hearn in third, Max Siegel fourth, Ben Underdown fifth, Ben Awalid sixth, Clausen, Jacqueline Robinson and Mellis. So a great job from that top 10. And then you've got Mino de Graaf, Cedric O'Ryan, Kajura, Davies, Walters, Haig, Inop. There are your last of your finishers. It's been a very interesting evening in the ARMS, but James Barry is your champion. We're going to take another short break, guys, as we switch over to the pro session, and then we'll have a chat with Richard Hearn and Kim Andre Bjorklund. We will see you after this short break. Okay, guys, we are back here as well, and we've got 4.5 minutes left of qualifying remaining for these pros here as well. We're going to bring all the guys in here as well, because it's going to be a very quick chat, because we've got 4.5 minutes of the pros qualifying left, and at the moment we've got Maxwell out on pole. Let's start with your third place man, Richard Hearn, here as well. Richard, welcome in, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm not bad at all, buddy. Not bad at all. To be interested, some interesting racing there, mate. And for everyone as well. How's it been for you?
Yeah, actually, I'm surprised I finished third because I didn't practice this track much. I thought I was going to do better in Road America, but either way, I'm pumped to be back talking to you guys.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's one of the better things here as well. We can have a look now at the final standings, of course, and I've got a funny feeling here for you, Richard. You have finished in 5th overall, jumped 3 places in that last race alone.
I'll take that. These guys are really good and much better than me. I just tried to hold my own, and I'll take that 5th place.
Absolutely. Well, Richard, thank you so much for joining us. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before I let you go quick?
Just the series and you, obviously, for doing all this. Good luck on the next race for the pros, and I'll catch you next time.
Awesome stuff there as well. Now we can have a chat with the man that finished in 2nd place, Kim Andre Bjorklund, here as well. Kim, how are you?
Yeah, I'm great. I had a bit of unlucky moment at the first race, but shit happens, as I said.
And language on the broadcast, as we said.
What?
No swearing, Kim.
Oh, okay.
Yes. But look, overall, you did everything you needed to do in that second race. You know, James had pole. He was already 2 points up from the end of the first one. You had to go out and win the race. You did that, and unfortunately, all you had was James following you around for the circuit for the whole time.
Yeah, I should have. I might have gotten pole both races, but some small mistakes in my last quali laps both races. So it is what it is.
It is what it is, young sir. Well, congratulations on your 2nd place there as well. Anyone you want to shout out before I let you go?
Yeah, of course, my teammates who's backing me and pushing me every time, and you guys for broadcasting this thing, and of course Sandro who is trying to do the best for us to race.
Yep. Awesome stuff, Kim. Well, thank you so much for joining us there, buddy, and hopefully we might have a chat with you back next season. But for now, mate, take care.
Yeah.
Right, now we can bring in James Barry, who has been confirmed as your champion, your World Series champion here as well. Done the job in race 1. He got pole position. He then went on and took the win, so that gave him an extra point. He then did it in race 2. He got the pole in race 2 as well. And then, to be honest with you, James, you did everything you can, mate, and just followed Kim around the circuit. So, James Barry, welcome in, sir. How are you?
Yeah, fine. Kind of muted celebrations after that, but yeah, I gave it a go in the second race to try and win that race, but he beat me fair and square. Kim did.
Did you? You didn't look like you were giving it a go, and that's not me being detrimental.
Last two laps.
I was going to say
I sat there for half an hour and then had a go.
Yeah, I had a go, but at the end of the day,
I'm sorry, it can't have been very exciting. I'm sorry for that.
That's all right. That's not.
I knew I had it in the bag.
Yeah, that's what we said, mate. If I had it in the bag, I wouldn't be going pushing, making silly moves either. I just want to sit there. I wouldn't even have made an attempt on the last 2 laps. I just want to follow them around and be like, well,
I wanted to do it in style. But yeah.
Oh, well, look, at the end of the day, you did everything you can here as well, sir, and congratulations on your win there, James, as well. You're the World Series champion of 2023.
Yeah,
anyone you want to shout out before I let you go?
I'll echo what Kim said and shout out Sandro for all his efforts in organising everything. And everyone else involved. Thanks a lot.
Awesome stuff, James. Well, congratulations again there, buddy, and we'll look forward to having a chat with you maybe next season.
Yeah, cheers. See you guys.
Bye. Well, there you go, Kels. It was a very quick interviews with these drivers as well, but it is James Barry who took the win, and we kind of did predict that before we've even come to the final lap. He didn't really need to make the move. He tried to have a go, and that was about it, but yeah, he wrapped it up, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did exactly what I said he was going to sort of do, was sit there for a little bit and then maybe give it a go in the last couple of laps or so. But it would have been nice for him, I suppose, to get himself in the lead, but he's won the championship nonetheless. While you've been talking, James, I've been keeping my eyes on the timing board, just seeing where everything is. These lap times are incredibly close. If you well, perhaps don't count the Frank and Bertie, who are currently sat P1 and 2 in this session, but it's close within the midfield. Halliburton's way down of where he should be, but he might be able to get another lap in as the checkered flag is out. But we could be having a different conversation about the championship for the pros here, James.
Yeah, we definitely could. We've got everybody very, very close together. You see, that's current standings. Mallow, Halliburton, Frank, Maxwell and Larson. And we've got Frank, Bertie, Maxwell, McHutchinson, Larson, Kiki Ming and Kane Halliburton here on the circuit. He's got to try and get a decent lap time on the board. What is he going to do, as we're going to be coming over the final time here as well? We're going to only have 14 cars on this race circuit here. Who is it going to be? Is Halliburton done enough? No. 2:12.6, still within 6 tenths as everybody else comes over the line. Jürgen Frank there as well. Looks like he's coming over the line once more here as he goes round Blanchimont into that long left-hander. We're going to be up and running very, very shortly, guys, as well. As I say, we've lost some cars. We've got 14 in the session registered at the moment. Buson does put a little time on the board, 2:13.351. So let's keep a close eye, I should say, on this one. And that's the last of the runners, I believe, as well. Andre Friedrich has come over the line and stopped. So yeah, great job from all of these guys. And now we can bring you up the results very, very shortly once we just wait patiently for them to appear. Come on, Franco! Franco Sanchez all the way down in 12th, though, young sir. So it's going to be tough there. It's going to be tough for Franco, I think. Franco Sanchez in 12th place. Right, when we can get the grid. Still waiting.
You could always charge forward from P12. You never know.
It's
never count anybody out.
It's a big ask, isn't it? It's a big ask. Yeah. So it's a big ask. Still waiting. If you're wondering, I'm not just sitting here ignoring everybody. I am still waiting for the results to come through.
Wow, such close gaps on these lap times as well.
Yeah, literally second. Literally barely a second. So, right, there we go. The grid is come up now as well. Jürgen Frank leading the way. Tim Bertie second. Luke Maxwell third. John McHutchison fourth. Kettle Larson fifth. Kiki Ming in sixth. Cade Halliburton seventh. Alfredo Mello eighth. Stephen Place, Andres Friedrich, Eric Harmon and Franco Sanchez. And then beyond that, you got Mike Buson and Mateus Moraes there as well. So let's keep an eye on this one. It's going to be a very interesting one. Who's going to take it here, do you think? Kelsey, who do you think is going to get it?
Oh, I don't know. This could be quite the fight here, I think. Frank's probably the best situated if he can get himself off the line cleanly as well and keep Bertie and Maxwell from challenging him too much. Then he should have this one in the bag because, you know, the likes of Halliburton and Mallow, who he were fighting with for the entirety of the race, are down in 6th and 7th, so they've got some work to do. They've got to fight along with the likes of Larson, McHutchison, Maxwell, in order to even get close to Bertie and Frank in the front. I'm gonna my best bet's on Frank, but I think with the talent that these drivers have, it could go any way.
Definitely. We're just waiting for the final cars to get on the race circuit. Lights are on. There is Mallow. Now I've just got Sanchez and Buson. Buson's on. Franco Sanchez just waiting here. He's got about another 20 seconds. So let's see what Sanchez can do He is on the grid. There you go. Franco Sanchez is on. We'll go on board with the pole man. The lights are going to be coming on very, very shortly. Here we go. Once more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we are off and running in this second race for the pros, the final race of the evening. Jürgen Frank has got off the line well, so has Tim Bertie, so has Luke Maxwell, John McHutchison, Larson, Ming. Mallow's made his way through a few positions as well. Everybody through cleanly at the moment. Mallow's up 2, Larson's down 2. Please don't run side by side up here because you are not going to make this as we go on the first run down into the Camel, and it is Jürgen Frank out in front at the moment, clearing the way with Maxwell clearing past Bertie as well. Maxwell's giving it a good old go here. He's going to try and get into that second place. There's going to be a lot of swapping and sliding and changing of positions going down into Lacombe. It is Bertie, it is Maxwell, it is Ming, and it is Mallow, your top 5. But at the moment, Jürgen Frank has already cleared off down the road here, Kelsey, and has opened up nearly a second gap.
Yeah, he has. He's got the clean start as he would have wanted to get. Fairly clean from everybody else as well. Lots of jostling. There's a car off in the background. That's Mallow. Mallow's gone off. He's down into P13 now. He's got such a great start and he's come down to Rivage, gone off the circuit. So that is your current leader gone. What's happened to him? Oh, there's been a big crash there. Who's that? That's Harlan.
Mallow's done his down into Rivage, I think. Oh, missed it by a mile. Missed it by a mile there, and also Kane Halliburton looks like he's also had a little bit of an incident as well. He's off the side of the circuit, manages to keep it in and control. But Jürgen Frank at the moment doing an absolutely stellar job, and Tim Bertie acting like the perfect wingman. It is Maverick, it is Ice up the front here, and it is Luke Maxwell behind that. I don't know any other characters from Top Gun, so I couldn't call him anything, unfortunately. Sorry, Luke. Love you, really. But to be honest, Maxwell needs to clear Bertie now because Bertie can just allow Frank to go and run away with it.
Yeah, well, I'm just sort of trying to...
We're doing numbers here, aren't we? It's 39 to Frank at the moment. Maxwell will get... Where is he? Third, 2019. He's going to get another 18. That will put him on 36. It was Mallow. Mallow's down in 13th, unfortunately. Halliburton down in 7th.
I was looking at Halliburton. If he needs to win this race in order to draw level, and then I think it goes back to countback, if that's the case.
But he ain't going to get...
I think on countback, Hallow would get it. Halliburton would get it.
Yeah, but I don't think he needs to win it, and Halliburton is sitting in 7th. I think if I'm brutally honest to Kane Halliburton, I don't think there's a shot of chance there. Wolfman and Jester, says Biggles. Thank you very much for that one. Welcome in, Biggles. Hope you are well. Luke Maxwell trying to go. He's got to go past Bertie. He has to. Bertie's acting like a wingman for that Simracing. Jürgen Frank up front. And now Bertie has lost 2 positions to Ming and Maxwell. So Maxwell's now going to go at it. Kiki Ming there as well. Kane Halliburton looking on the outside of Kettle Larson through Rivage. They're going to be side by side. Are they going to still run side by side through No Name? Larson's looked to settle in. He did settle in now as well. But it's all about what Maxwell can do. Can he get on to the back? You can see Larson's on the defense there as well. That's because Frederick was right behind him. Through Pouan they go. It's 2.7 seconds out in front with Jürgen Frank at the moment, and if it stays like this, he's going to take the victory. So Maxwell will get 18, and if he stays where he is, we'll get another 19. That's going to put him only on 37. So Maxwell will be on 37. Frank will get 21. That will still put Frank on 39.
I think Maxwell's acting like a little bit of a bottle cap to this. I think he's a lot slower than some of these guys behind him. That's nothing, no shade on Maxwell at all, but I think some of the others need to try and get past. I think Halliburton's going to be the only one who can realistically try, but he's got a long way to come from in order to do that. And I guess Frank would need to make a mistake, and Halliburton would need to close up on this. I think the writing's on the wall for the time being, but that being said, there's still plenty of opportunities for something to happen here, and we're going to have to keep an eye on this fight as it goes through. And I'm just looking at lap times at the moment. Frank is about a second quicker than everybody else.
Yeah, McHutchinson's made a mistake and put himself down into 12th. That's going to be, there's somebody on our outside. That's going to be Mallow. Are we going to be running side by side up through this one? We are on the moment, and he does make it through, I believe. Here, John McHutchinson holds on to that position. Is he now going to be able to get Mallow? Mallow's looking at trying to come up him as well. It is Alfredo Mallow's going to clear McHutchinson. Buson's got nowhere to go. In front, Sanchez and Moraes. Sanchez does clear Moraes there as well. So great job from Sanchez. Maxwell has got to try and get on to the back of Jürgen Frank. And at the moment, Frank's opening up 3 seconds here. And Halliburton sitting in 4th. He needs to clear Kiki Ming to be in really with any open shot of getting him, and even him in the current situation here, Kelsey, is only going to score 37 even if he gets into second place. No, 38.
Yeah.
38.
Yeah, I think that what's helped Frank out is getting pole position in both races, because it's given him that extra 2 points, and it's given him that lovely little cushion to make it, that Halliburton needs to win. And he's just going to keep opening up that gap as well. Maxwell hasn't got the pace to try and challenge him, and I don't think Ming has either. I think the only person who really does is Halliburton. Mallow's had it off, so he's way down where he should be on this occasion. And, McHutchinson and Larson, I don't think they had the pace either to go after Frank. And the thing that was keeping everything so tense in that first race was that Frank was surrounded by all the drivers who were really on it, and Frank was really tested because Mallow was not letting him through. He was constantly battling with him, and Halliburton was always there on the case. He was always that monkey on his back, and then he had the other 3 for company as well during that fight, and just adding into it. But here comes Ming, looks to the inside of the source as they go down. Is Halliburton going to do anything clever in through this corner? I don't think so. I reckon he's going to sit behind and try and make a move into Lecon.
Yeah, I think so as well, to be honest. I would. There's no need. You've got a big old draft coming up here as well for Kane Halliburton. I would definitely be looking at just sitting there. I don't see the point. There is Halliburton on our outside here as well. We're going to see what he is going to be able to do for Kane Halliburton. There's Kiki Ming. We know we've got Maxwell beside us. We've still got to be a little bit careful. He does manage to clear Maxwell. Is he going to be able to clear Ming as well? In through Lecombe we go on the outside, through Marmody now as well. That is the view back from Kane Halliburton's car. That's Luke Maxwell. There's the front view, is Kiki Ming here as well in front of us. Round we go, Rivage into No Name, and Halliburton has cleared Maxwell, but he didn't get past Kiki Ming at the moment.
Not on that occasion, no, but Halliburton, I think he'll have Ming quite quickly, if not through Sector 2, certainly down towards the bus stop on any choice. He looks much more put together behind the wheel of that SR10. You can see just how much more confident he is through the corners, how much quicker he's going through, how much more speed he's carrying compared to Kiki Ming just up ahead. And yeah, Kiki Ming runs wide there. That could be an opportunity, but just manages to get back onto it, manages to carry enough speed to keep Halliburton at bay, but it's only a matter of time.
It definitely is, and there is Kane Halliburton's nose looking forward to Kiki Ming. Under the DHL we go. There he is, that brightly coloured lollipop that can be seen down at any seafront in the UK or wherever, probably wherever you are, to be honest. Halliburton's not going to get close enough this time around, though, unfortunately, and he really kind of would like to try and get past here once more. That's a young man working hard at the moment in that car, but he's just got to try and get past him. But the problem is they're not dropping the likes of Maxwell. They're not dropping anybody behind them either. So at the moment, while they're racing, they're not going forward, are they? And that's the problem.
Yeah, it is. There's no sort of progress, and look at the gap now. It's almost 4 seconds between Ming and Frank here, and I don't know. I think this is over before it really got a chance to begin. But you've still got 20 minutes, though. There's still a chance for something to happen. The racing gods tend to be quite fickle creatures. They love to throw in a bit of drama now and again. But there's Halliburton past Ming. Eventually, same place he got past Maxwell as well, and what he's got to do now is get his head down, leave these guys behind, and start putting in some blistering laps in order to try and get anywhere near Frank.
Frank's on a 212, mind you. These guys on a 213.
Yeah.
So I think for Kane Halliburton, it's going to be tough, right? You know, he's got to be almost Superman. So yeah, I can't see him winning at the moment, personally, unless he can do something magical and magnificent in that SR10. For Halliburton to win it, he needs to finish in front of Frank. We already know that to get the 20 points. But they will be, I believe, drawn on 39. So that will go on countbacks, I presume.
Yeah, it would be on countback, and it would go the way of Halliburton if that was the case. So that's how it would go. I'm just looking over the lap times. Actually, you've got Murray on a 12.6, and there's McHutchison on a 12.9. You've got a 12.9 from Larson, 12.7 from Friedrich, a 12.8 from Bertie, and your fastest man, of course, is Jürgen Frank on a 12.4. So at the minimum, he's 4 tenths quicker than the next fastest driver, and he's just gone slightly quicker. Still a 12.4 on that one.
Mike Busson's done a bit of an issue. Okay.
Ooh.
Well, that wasn't. I'm not sure who that would be on from that position. Let's have a look and see if we can see anything from here. We can't. There we go. Question there, should Murray have slowed down?
Murray's got every right to be there, isn't he? I think personally, just on having a look at that, I think Busson's made a bit of a boo-boo there. I think he's come across a little bit too enthusiastically, not quite cleared the car that he was passing, and as a result, taking himself out.
You reckon?
I think so. If that was in a steward's room, I think that I'd be leaning for that to be a racing incident. In all honesty, I don't think on this occasion Murray's done much wrong there, because it was Busson going for the pass, so it's on him to really not make contact, I suppose. And Murray was pinched to the inside as well, a mid-speed corner, mind you. So it's not a. I think Busson's got. He's only got himself to blame on that one, I think.
Well, there we go. There is Kiki Ming sitting in front of us here at the moment for Kiki. As we go on to his left front as we're looking at it, or right front, depending if you're staring at the car. The gap's not coming down at the moment. If anything, it's getting slightly extended. There is Frank there. 3.8, 3.9, 4 seconds by the time we get going. So, yeah, it's a tough one at the moment, because we know where it lies, but we just can't quite get it there. And I'm wondering whether this man, Tim Bertie, kind of had something to do with that, allowing them to get away at the beginning.
Maybe we might have to put the start under a bit of scrutiny, perhaps, in order to really see that. But Halliburton has just set a 12.5, so I think he just needed some clean air in order to try and start setting lap times that are closer to Frank. He's only a tenth off of Frank's times now, so it's possible it might be a trading of times, but I think at this point we're about to reach the halfway mark, and I think it's a little bit too late to be trying to close down 4 seconds. Halliburton will be praying for some sort of mistake from Jürgen Frank in the front, but it looks like the Germans out there are loving this racetrack.
No, they definitely are, of course. Gaps down a little bit. Friedrich still has got Tim Bertie behind him. to be honest, if I was Tim Bertie, he kind of looked like he did a job at the beginning. I'm not going to lie, because that gap rapidly increased, didn't it? It didn't go up little bit by bit. When Bertie was there, it rapidly increased, and I think that was one of the things that I think they've all kind of struggled with. We can have a quick look back at the start, and we can see it from Tim Bertie's point of view. He knows what he's got to do, and he kind of does it in a way where he just there. Maxwell got an absolute flyer, to be fair, but now Bertie's run around the outside. It's almost like Frank's held up that inside line, and he's allowed him to come through, and now Bertie is where he needs to be, right? He needs to be in that position at the moment as they're going down the front stretch down through El Rouge and Radion. Now he's getting towed along nicely here, but you can already see the gap is extending. Now that shouldn't generally be happening on a start-finish straight. On an area where there's a fast pace. The difference is this man wasn't along, he didn't quite get alongside Tim Bertie either, so Maxwell didn't make it through, and now we're going to see the gap evolve even more, because Bertie there is just doing what Bertie needs to do. Maxwell knows he needs to get through. I just think this first stage of the Grand Prix, Bertie did a bit of a job.
Yeah, he did. I think if you saw on the Kemmel straight there, he sort of planted the car in the middle just as they got to the braking zone, which made Maxwell's attempt an overtake through Les Combes that little bit harder. And then now we're going through Sector 2. It's easier to sit that car in awkward positions to ensure that that gap opens up, and it just leaves Frank the ability to run away with the race, Bertie the ability to control the pace from second place, and then sort of
just cleared off.
Just go from there. Yeah, he's just cleared off. That's it. It's good teamwork. You can't fault him for it.
No, you can't, but it's still Frank's out in front by 4.6 seconds. So, yeah, he's kind of done the job, and he's kind of done it all in all at the moment. Frank, Halliburton, Ming, Maxwell. There are your top five, with Bertie and Larson in 6th and 7th. So they're all kind of processional at the moment. Kettle Larson in there as well. So these guys all second all the way down to 7th are still just where they need to be here as well. Slight little battles going on the back with Eric Harmon and Murray. Nothing really doing. Murray got past Harmon again. Harmon passed Murray, so these guys have been backwards and forwards. Franco Sanchez with Stephen Place behind there as well. I hope Stephen Place's computer works this time, because he did have a dropout and technical failure on the last one. But to be honest, it's all about these front guys trying to clear off away from each other, and at the moment none of them are really making it.
Yeah, they're all stuck together, aren't they? We've got another 6-car train. It's not for the lead this time. It is for the 2 remaining places on the podium. Halliburton is the head of said train. They're all so very, very close together for the time being, trying to find a way through, trying to get a one-up on each other, and there'll be a nice little shuffling perhaps as they come up El Rouge and Radion and up towards Les Combes for the 9th time this evening. We're closing in on the latter stages of the race now, and well, this could be a nice little battle that's going to erupt between these 6 drivers here. Ming closing on Halliburton, who is the 2nd car in this 6-car train. Can he get anything of it? He's tucked right into the back. Here comes Maxwell though. Can he get 2 in 1 as they go into Les Combes? He'll definitely give it a go. Gets as high on the curb as the car will allow him to, and he'll get himself up into P3, but he won't quite get the ability to strike at Halliburton.
Yeah, he's not there as well. Larson fighting at the back there with Bertie. Larson's on that inside now. He goes to the outside of No Name, and it is Bertie who's managed to hold on, but it is Tim Bertie over Andres Frederick, over Kiki Ming, over Luke Maxwell, over Halliburton, and then of course your man who is out in front of the moment is this man, Jürgen Frank, who's done an absolute cracking job. He's done everything he needs to do. He's done his job right. He's done just teamwork, I think, as well, and I think that's it. It was incredible.
Yeah, as a team, that's a win as a team there. Bertie did his job in P2. and kept the others from attacking him in those early stages of the race. And he's just going to sit there now, drive around, set some quick laps maybe, try and get fastest lap of the race if he can. He's currently on a 12.3, so I don't think many have come close. The only oh there you go, Luke Maxwell's got a 12.3 as you look down the timing table, as does Friedrich as well. So he's not out and out the fastest, at least now that drivers have had time to sort of set laps and settle into the race, but he's certainly, well, he's the man out in front. He's 5 seconds ahead. It's his race to lose.
There it is. Kane Halliburton did a 2:12, Lars 2:12.8, while Jürgen Frank did a 2:12.4. So no real progress going on here. Kiki Ming in the background with Andreas Friedrich right behind him as well. And there is Friedrich as we look over the right rear. Now he's going to come to the left of us here as well. Is Friedrich, is he going to be able to make it through? Well, only time will tell. And is Friedrich still on our inside? He's not. Didn't make it through over Kiki Ming this time around. And Kiki manages to hold on there as well, so great job from him. Tim Bertie now with Friedrich in his sights, and Larson literally behind all of these guys as well. So very again processional evening of racing, I think here, Kelsey, to be honest, within these last little bits.
Yeah, I think Spa sort of invites that. I think it's not as broken up as, say, Road America was, where it had a few more heavier braking zones. It's a bit more high speed, and that's just the nature of the circuit. It invites, you know, a draft train, if you want to call it that. And that's what we're sort of sat in now. Halliburton with Maxwell, Ming, Friedrich, Bertie, Larson all getting closed in, because you want to be, I guess, you know, the most advantageous position is perhaps the second guy, because he's getting the draft off of the lead of the train, and that leader is not getting any draft, and then everybody else sort of sat behind the next car as everyone is getting draft, and there's no sort of advantage gained then. They're all sort of just jostling, and it then just comes back down to natural racing ability, you know, getting better exits and positioning the car and being able to attack or defend in certain ways. So, you know, these sorts of trains, they nullify the effect that the draft tends to have.
Yeah, definitely as well. Joe Mack, welcome in. Thank you so much for joining us. Volvo Rallycross. Go, Kim, no! So there you go. Kiki Ming, Andreas Friedrich have had a little bit of a tat-tat-tat coming down here as well. It looks like Kiki Ming may have been the first one to drop it on the entrance into La Source. Oh, there we go, and there goes Friedrich. Everybody else manages to make it through, but Ming and Friedrich did make contact. That's going to be the end of what looked like Kiki Ming's race. His wing there looks a little bit left-sided, and unfortunately for Kiki Ming, it is out of the race. Tim Bertie has got Gettel Larson right behind him. Franco Sanchez trying to have a go at the inside of Stephen Place there. That's somebody, I think, behind them here as well. Who is behind him? Stephen Place is behind him, so Sanchez having a go there. So there he is, and battling away is Stephen Place. Friedrich looks like he's had another incident as well, unfortunately for Friedrich. Kane Halliburton still got Maxwell tucked up right behind him here once more, and this is the battle for your second place. Stephen Place with Franco Sanchez fighting out down in 7th and 8th at the moment.
Luke Maxwell, he won't have to look behind him now, will he? He can only focus now ahead and start going after Halliburton. So there might be a nice little fight that erupts for positions 2 and 3 on the podium. And you've got then Larson and Bertie now left to fight after that collision. Bertie gaining a couple places as well as Larson after Ming and Friedrich came together. Nothing Friedrich could have really done in that instance. He was following closely behind Ming. And then all of a sudden, Ming was sideways, right on the line that Friedrich was taking, and he couldn't do anything about it. He was just too close to him, unlike the drivers behind who had a moment to react and just draw out that little bit wider.
Yeah, they definitely did. here as well. Tim Bertie, Kettle Larson. Is Kettle going to be able to get through? Eric Harmon still going over it with Murray as well. Mateus Moraes here still fighting it out as they're into the bus stop now. Harmon not really making any moves closer. What's going back up front with Halliburton and Luke Maxwell? Well, they're still scrapping away, but they're just not making any progress at the moment over the fact of the flying German that is Jürgen Frank here. He's done it, let's be real, he's done a stellar job, hasn't he? He's got out in front, well, there he is on the side of your screen there as well. Then now Maxwell is tucked up right behind Kane Halliburton. This could mix it up here as well, because they will swap positions. They will give them this. I think that gives them the same points, but Halliburton will probably take it on count back of best positions because he finished in second place last time. 4.5 minutes, probably about another 2 laps here, Kelsey. Again, not been the sparky second race that we were kind of hoping for, but it hasn't been too drab.
No, it hasn't. I mean, the pros have certainly given us something to watch. They've given us a good few battles, and it's been good watching Halliburton fight his way up from 8th. He didn't get the best start that he would have probably wanted to, and then you've got this fight that's going on in the midfield as well with Larson, Bertie, and Mallow actually on a recovery drive. He's just caught to the back of Bertie, so he might be able to perhaps get himself into the top 5 by the end. They'll probably only have 2 laps or so left to do that, but it has had its moments. It hasn't been as exciting as that Road America race. I think, you know, the old adage goes, lightning doesn't strike twice, at least in the same place. So I think we've had a lot for very, very exciting races today, but we've had certainly plenty of moments, and we might be having a few more here. But he's closing in on Larson as they come down towards the bus stop. Is he going to go for any moves? Has a think about it. Larson just plants the car on the racing line, nice and confidently brakes in, doesn't think too much about Bertie behind him, and actually is perhaps even trying to get Mallow to have a go at him.
He needs him, really. Mallow's he's got to have a go. If he's going to make any inroads into Bertie, he's got to have a go there as well, is Mallow. So it's all about the fight at the moment. Murray has had a incident. Oh, he did it before then. It's coming down into Rivage. Is that all on his own? Oh, it is, unfortunately, Murray. Eric Harmon does make it through. Bertie and Larson and Mallow all scrapping it out. Bertie's gone from past Kettle Larson and Mallow's past Larson. So unfortunately for Larson, he has lost 2 places there as we're coming into now the penultimate lap. We've got 1 more to go for these guys, and it looks like the 1, 2, 3 will be Frank, Halliburton and Maxwell. And the 1, 2, 3 in the championship will be Frank, Halliburton and Maxwell.
Yeah, just looking at the numbers, I think this is the race that could have been for Mallow in the number 13 car. Going off at Rivage in the opening laps was not the way he would have wanted to start this race, because if he'd have finished second, so if he was charging through the field with Halliburton and had finished second, he would have drawn it level with Frank, and he would have won on countback because he won the first race and Frank finished in P4. So, or maybe he wouldn't. It might have been, I don't know, that might be a more difficult one to work. Yeah, he would have still won it, I think. Because it's a 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 4. So yeah, Mallow would have taken that.
Yes, but he kind of made a run for his own back, didn't he, really? Unfortunately for him. So he just got too close, missed his breaker point. He's now going to try and go at the inside. Nothing doing there for Mallow. He can't quite make it through this time around. So no move for Mallow, and Maxwell dropping back away a little bit by bit from Halliburton. Gap's now out to half a second as we go on to the final lap of the race. Here it's all about these 3, really. I think Maxwell might have a go at Halliburton, but I think it's going to be tough if he wants to try and get through. So for Halliburton, it's going to be all about trying to break the draft. Let's try and keep it to one move, though, please, because, you know, don't do knitting jumpers on a racetrack as we're weaving from side to side. Maxwell's trying to go around the outside into Lacombe, just not going to get him. What's going to happen here with Bertie and Mallow? Mallow's going to try and get round him as well. He's going to have the inside for the exit, then Bertie's going to have the inside for Marmody. On the exit now, we'll have the inside for Ravage. Carol Larson's trying to get in there. Don't make it free wide into Ravage. Larson, he's trying to go up the inside. Bertie's going to have it. Bertie's going to have it. Is Larson going to be able to take it? Mallow's going to look at trying to come back in, but it was Bertie who managed to make it there as well. And it is looking like Kane Halliburton has hung on from Luke Maxwell. There is Halliburton with Maxwell right behind him as they're going to be coming into Fagnier, and then they go on to Blanchimont for the final time here, Kelsey.
Yeah, solid defence from Bertie there. He just stuck it right onto the racing line, kept Mallow at bay, didn't give him an inch, and had the optimal line as they came through No Name and down towards Pouon to just defend it. He'll have one more chance, I think, Mallow into the bus stop, but I think this is going to be wrapped up.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely here as well. Halliburton, keep an eye on Frank. He is going through the final chicane. Jürgen Frank is going to be the winner. He's going to take it here as well. Jürgen Frank comes over the line. What's going to happen with Kane Halliburton and Luke Maxwell? It looks like Halliburton has got this one. What about Mello? Whoa!
Oh dear. What's happened here then? They're jostling, they're going through, free wide almost. And yeah, that's not going to work. Tags Mallow, does Bertie, and then Larson has nowhere to go.
Yeah. Mallow allows Bertie to go through. Larson sits there as well. Somebody else says, thank you very much, Franco Sanchez, who just says, well, if you're going to slow down, I'm going to have that. And he does go and take it. But to be honest, I probably would have done the same. I'm not going to lie. If somebody was slowing down, I would have come along and took it as well. So there we go. Murray and Friedrich coming in over the line, and then we will bring you up the final results of this evening here. And your winner is Jürgen Frank over Kane Halliburton, who battled his way back through, gaining 5 places. Luke Maxwell in 3rd, Alfredo Mallow 4th, Franco Sanchez 5th. Kel Larson finished in 6th in the end, with Stephen Place 7th, Eric Harmon 8th. John McHutchinson is not going to be happy about that, down in 9th. Matthias Murray in 10th, Andres Friedrich in 11th. Tim Bertie finished all the way down in 12th place. Oh, that's because he had an off-track to Tim Bertie. Kiki Ming down in 13th with Buson, who didn't finish there as well. But we can have a chat with your first place man and your winner here this evening. He took pole in race 1, gave him 1 bonus point, finished 4th overall. Then he took pole in race 2, and now he's gone and done it all together here. And that is your German rocket machine from SimRC, Jürgen Frank. Jürgen, welcome in, buddy. Congratulations. I believe you have won this championship here this evening.
Yeah, hello, good evening, guys. What a race, thank you. That was very intense, especially the first race with the funny start I had. And yeah, the results, I was a bit disappointed after race 1 because I had good pace. Yeah, at Spa, it's a very good track for me. I had a blistering pace in quali and also in the race. Put on the fastest lap in the last lap, 11.8. Yeah, I hope I have enough points.
You do.
But I think you said.
No, you do.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect.
Basically,
Great.
You took 19 in race 1 because you had pole and that. And then you just took 21 here, so that gives you 40 points, basically. Kane Halliburton is in 2nd on 38, so you have taken the victory. I want to ask you a question, and it's a bit of a conspiracy theory. Did Tim Bertie slow everyone down behind you to allow you to get out in front?
No, not particularly. But yeah, I pulled him in quali. to get a good lap for him. He didn't have the paces I had today. So yeah, in the end he was a bit slower, and yeah, that made a difference to get out of the draft. But it was not on purpose.
And did you slow up on the first corner to allow him to come around the outside to take the second place?
No, I had a bad start.
Come
the
on.
reason was after that what happened in Road America, I set a clutch point on a 38% or something, and then I said, no, not again in Spa, please. I put a bit more, and Luke had a great start. Yeah, cold tires are always a danger. So yeah, I put it quite easy, and also I lifted in Eau Rouge a bit because it's sketchy on the first lap.
Yeah, cold tyres. Oh, well, Jürgen, there goes my conspiracy theory. So, well, look, I'll accept the fact that he didn't do it, but, you know, team orders, secretly team orders. But, Jürgen, Frank, thank you so much for joining us there, bud. Anyone you want to shout out before I let you go here this evening?
Yeah, of course, to Tim Berti, who had a great race now. Even he complained the whole day that he has no pace. And, yeah, now he made it. Also to my other teammates, great shout out, and also to the guys I raced in the first race. Yeah, I had a netcode with Alfredo. First I was a bit angry, but yeah, it was a netcode, and yeah, American server, you can't do anything about that.
No, definitely not. Well, Jürgen, thank you so much for joining us there, bud, and look forward to maybe seeing you on chat next season.
Yeah, I hope so, and have a good evening, guys.
And you.
Thanks to all spectators who joined the broadcast.
Awesome stuff. Well, Jürgen, thank you so much there, buddy, and take care.
Thanks, yeah.
Right. Now, next on the board is... Oh, hold on. What have I done here? Pressed the wrong button. Next on the board is Mr. Luke Maxwell, who took 2 third places, needed the win here today. Just couldn't get past the flying German up front, Jürgen Frank. Maybe Tim Berti may have had a little bit of a part in it, but they're not accepting that. Then denying all knowledge that Tim Berti slowed him down at the beginning. Let's find out what Luke thinks. Luke, welcome into the booth there, bud. How are you?
Yeah, actually, really, really pleased. I'm, very, very happy to finish P3 in a field of that strength. To be honest, it was pretty epic, very stressful. But I think still feel like I'm kind of improving. So to be able to kind of mix it with those guys, well, I couldn't ask for more.
They denied it, but do you think Tim Berti slowed you up a little bit on the first lap to get Jürgen Frank away?
He was getting away, and I was thinking I've got to get past Tim to try and keep in the tow. But it was a bit too late, unfortunately. So, but Jürgen was that quick at Spa, especially. I mean, it was amazing. So
you're not confirming or denying the fact that they may have been slowing you down?
Well, I was definitely keen to get by and see if I could keep in the tow. I thought I had a bit more pace, but it's that car with the draft is it is a draft fest, and it's very, very hard. As soon as you come out of the tow, you're stalling, and it's hard to carry the momentum to keep the pass, and you're fighting it up into the corners then. So it is what it is. I was thinking, well, he's gone now. There's no catching him. I'll just see if I can stick with Kane.
Yeah,
and hold pace and have a go at the end. That was my plan.
Well, you did. You had a good old go there, Luke, as well. Finished 3rd place in this finals, in the World Finals. So good job for you, dear sir, as well. We're going to see you on track next season, do you reckon?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. Loving the car, loving the events. So, keep them coming.
Awesome stuff, Luke. Well, thanks so much for joining us there, bud. Anyone you want to shout out before I let you go, mate?
I'll give a shout out to Team Radline. It's a good result today. We worked together quite well in qualifying. I think there were a few tows going on, which helped us. So yeah, it was good work. Shout out to the guys.
Awesome stuff. Well, Luke, thank you very much there, buddy, and take care.
Cheers, James.
Take care, mate. Well, there you go, Kelsey. 2 happy drivers as well. Can't really say a lot about it. The racing was great in race 1, kind of stagnated in race 2, but everybody did what they did. And eventual winners of James Barry in the AMs and Jürgen Frank in the pros. So a great job from all of them.
Yeah, a couple of drivers who really deserved it. I think, Frank, despite having a bit of a quieter race too, he absolutely worked for it in that first one, didn't he? He fought to the bitter end. He came on P4, but it was not bad at all, considering that he dropped all the way down to about 6th or 7th at the start of that first race. He proper went for it, which is a big round of applause to him. A huge round of applause for some of the racing that we've witnessed here tonight as well. You guys over in the Radical Sim Racing series have done yourselves absolutely
proud.
Well, yeah, you've done yourselves very good, very proud. Yeah. So pat on the backs to everybody, because it's been some phenomenal racing. That Road America race will continue to go down as one of the best races I've ever seen, and yeah, there's some great stuff out there, despite any incidents that we may have seen tonight.
There are the final championship standings. I've got them slightly different to that, but there we go. Kane Halliburton in second. Jurgen Frank is your winner. Alfredo Melo third. Luke Maxwell fourth. I think Maxwell actually got that. Kettle Larson, Tim Bertie, Sanchez, McCutcheon, Harmon, and Andres Friedrich. So well done to the two champions here this evening as well, James Barry and Jurgen Frank. But for now, guys, that's going to wrap it up here. I've been James Parfitt up in the booth alongside Kelsey Gill. For now, guys, as always, stay tuned because we've got more racing coming up after this as well with the IGP Fun Formula Freeze, and they're going to be very, very exciting. But for now, guys, for myself and Kelsey, take care, have a great week, and you never know, we might see you on a track sometime. Good night.